but it's a series that has been identified by streaks, 85 through 90. Jackson State won 6 in a row. Then it was the Air McNair era, 4 in a row for Alcorn. But as you guys talked about at the top of the broadcast, Jackson State currently is in the midst of an 8-game winning streak. That's the second longest in the history of this series. The longest, 55 through 1963. And back in 63, 40 years ago, that guy sitting next to you, Lem Barney, wore number 26 as a freshman defensive back. And maybe these Tigers will equal that streak today.
Thanks, Barry. Beautiful afternoon for you to walk up and down the sideline. 75 degrees. That wind may pay some dividends. And it'll be at the back once again as O'Connell will be kicking off here for Alcorn State. And coming up quickly is Chris Jones for the first carry off the return out to near the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 once again for the Tigers as they'll start the offense first. For the Tigers, of course, we mentioned that they'll have Robert Kent as their QB. He's a man that is already thrown for over 11,600 yards in his career and 103 touchdowns already. 2,079 yards for this year and a fine completion record of 52% of his throws. Robert Kent will have the running backs stacked behind him. Morris and Kennebrew will be starting at the running backs out of the shotgun, one in motion. And the air it out firstly, thrown to the far sideline, and it's knocked down incomplete. But a flag is down. At time, Taryn Parks out of Miami, Florida, defended on the corner. They were trying to get it out to the tight end on that play, and unfortunately for Alcorn, looks like they had some contact. Let's see which way it goes. So again, they try to air out early, and it is against Alcorn State. You know, Lim, they started out with that big long throw here early in the game.
They certainly did. Again, as we talked about the two quarterbacks, the ones to watch, here it is. Again, Parks did run into the intended receiver, and there was incidental contact, but again, it'll bring on a first down.
So they step it off from the line of scrimmage. It'll be brought all the way out to beyond the 40-yard line now. It's around the 41. And again, the Tigers of Jackson State. Jackson State coming into this game only a 2-9 record so far this year. They've lost 4 games, however, by 7 points or less. And that included a 10-7 loss to NC A&T, North Carolina A&T, that, of course, has already wrapped up the MEAC championship.
15 yards awarded to Jackson State because of the penalty.
45-yard line will be the line of scrimmage now, as Slim pointed out, a fresh down for the Tigers. As the officials have a little extra talking conversation going on before they can get this one righted. We'll check those starting lineups coming in just a moment on both sides of the ball. But a early turn of events here. And again, that's what turns footballs around, Lynn. Games can be turned on a penalty.
Absolutely. Penalties or nightmares for coaches, particularly those long unnecessary penalties. But again, good play by Parks trying to get over to try and prevent him from catching the ball, and just some incidental contact again awarded Jackson State a first down and 10.
I understand the referee is a little bit shaken up. They're trying to get him righted here. Let's take a look at once again our starting lineups. And again, all brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. And there you have for Jackson State. There's our backs, as I mentioned, Kennebrew and Morris. Manning, Jones, and Davis are their wide receivers. And, of course, behind a front line that will include some guys trying to do what they can, including Bates, who's been a very, very solid center for them, a track and weightlifter, all Southwest Athletic Conference in the SWAC last year. That's for Jackson State. We'll set the defense here in a moment. Offensively for Jackson State, we talked to the coach. Certainly, James Bell wanted to come out, had to establish something early against Alcorn State's defense, and that's what they wanted to do. The defense they'll go against are Gordon and Williams. The two outside defensive ends have good rush potential, Roach and Howlett up front, while the linebackers, Logan is their top tackler, along with Nobles and Wilson. And I think you might see that those corners are going to be well tested tonight. And Parsons, and also on the other side, Parks. Parks has already had the one interference called, so they are definitely going to be once again called upon as you look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. So a little asthma attack by our referee. They are now changing and getting, I believe, the head linesman is going to be switching over to where the referees had tonight. As you take a good look, that's Dr. Johnny Thomas on the sideline for Alcorn State, now in his 6th year. James Bell on the other side, only his 1st year. very extensive Division I experience for James Bell. First opportunity to come into Jackson State. By the way, they tried to put a lot of things together, and of course over at Alcorn in the 6th year, Dr. Thomas watched his walkthrough yesterday, Lem, and it is indeed very businesslike for Alcorn State.
Well, you could tell the contrast when we heard sound bites from both the coaches about the occasion of this game, bragging rights, as Coach Bell mentioned. And again, it was more so a business approach for Coach Thomas. But again, as you mentioned, regardless if it's for bragging rights or for business, you just got to win.
So, of course, the momentum of this game obviously had been going to Jackson State with the first big interference call at Alcorn. Now they have to kind of settle back in their offense. Still have the 1st and 10 out of their own 45-yard line. Is now the officials, not only they're changing the referee, but they're now switching some other positions as well to try to get some other guys in the different position with the referee. Uncertain if he'll be able to continue as well. So once again, we are just underway here at Capital City. Back in a moment. Well, coaches had the opportunity to make substitutions. The officials did as well. Now, Otis Webb, our normal head linesman here, is now going to be our referee for the remainder of the game after getting an asthma attack here by our referee and unable to continue. So 1st and 10 for Jackson State. Robert Kent under center. As again, they got the interference call on their first throw of the afternoon.
Chris Jones goes in motion. Ball is given off to Kennebrew, looks like.
Kennebrew again trying to carry the football on the right-hand side. Kennebrew comes in with 89 rushes, 321 yards, and just a single touchdown. They, of course, lost counts for last year, over 1,000 yards rushing, trying to find by committee the people that will be carrying that football, and they're flagged down on the field here as we've got a rather sluggish start to our game here on the Capital City Classic. I'll tell you what, the fans are here. They're going to enjoy football. Great halftime show with the bands as always.
Absolutely.
And, of course, they're going to enjoy the great capital city of Jackson, Mississippi before and after this game. It is a happening here at the Capital City.
Maybe an inadvertent flag. No.
They picked it up.
Yes, no yardage marked off.
So Kennebrew gains it out into Alcorn's territory for a 2nd down. They get it at the 47-yard line. Again, Kennebrew gets the handoff. He'll carry it for the 1st down as he gets it down to the 39-yard line. And one of the things the coaches were talking about this young man, who, by the way, was recruited in Division I by several schools, including Arkansas State. He's from Little Rock. Is the fact that he's got good balance and has good reading ability with his eyes when he hits the hole.
Indeed. And he's a load to try and bring down. Again, good stop there defensively after the 1st down yardage has been made by number 51, the middle linebacker, Leo Noble.
So 1st and 10 again for the Tigers. Out of the shotgun for the first time today is Kent. Low snap, but he handles it easily. Plenty of time to throw now. He's got some great running ability, and he's on his way. Oh, he's tripped up with a diving tackle. And again, that time Parsons knocked it away. The ball was loose. Let's see if the ball was loose coming out.
I think they ruled that he was down when he fumbled the ball. Get a chance to view it again. This is called a cover run. He had to run great coverage downfield. Again, here he goes. He's got to lower himself. He's a big target. 1st and 10 yardage made, however, inside the 30.
Seemed like he ran into a fog there for a few minutes, and then he came back. As Kent again with a 1st down. Handoff Kennebrew. And the young Frenchman carries it into the teeth of the defense, which up front again is Gordon, Roach, Williams, and Hallett. Up front here for Alcorn State. Those linebackers are Logan, their number 1 tackle, Johnson and Wilson. Parks and Parson on the corners. Smith and Batts are the deep safeties for Alcorn in their defense. They, by the way, have had 21 sacks this year for the Braves, which puts some pressure on Kent.
Indeed, that's a lot of pressure.
2nd down, 8 yards to go, gain of 2, as Kent wants to air this one out again. And he may have to be placed out, coming to the sideline. He lets it fly, and he's going to throw that one away, wisely so. Good coverage that time by Alcorn, and you being a defensive back with the all-time record here at Jackson State with 26 intercepts. A lot of times you guys don't get enough credit back there for what we call is cover sacks almost, as people have a chance to get the quarterback.
Great coverage again, as you mentioned. Tremendous pressure was applied. They flushed again Kent out of the pocket, and just great pressure by number 41, the outside linebacker, Omega Logan. Brings up a 3rd down and about, let's call it a long 8.
Logan from DeSoto, Texas, again is their their tackler that's had himself a great season so far. And again, makes another big one there. It brings up 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun, Kent, they screen it. Get it to the inside to Jones. Jones carries it all the way down to the 12-yard line. Another first down for the Tigers brings the Jackson State crowd to their feet as they enjoy another first for JSU. There's one thing about these receivers, and of course JSU is known for their receivers, 24 all told going into the National Football League. They seem to just be coming up with guys that can latch onto that football.
They like to throw the ball. That's been one of the cries this year. The passing game has not been executed as well as it has been over the years. But again, tremendous job by that offensive unit.
Kent cleans up another low throw, tries to angle this one in. And it's going to go incomplete. That time Michael Johnson was the intended receiver. Michael out of Brooksville, Mississippi. Could not catch on. Good coverage back there once again. And Tyrone Parson already has 3 intercepts, getting those, actually 5. He had 3 in the last 4 games. Good cover man on the corner.
Indeed, he's a big playmaker. He has a nose for the ball and just tremendous footwork to go in and out as well as cover one-on-one.
Somebody told me I had a nose that looked like a football, but we'll discuss that later. 2nd down, 10 yards to go for JSU. They did by an interference call. They have marched it into Alcorn territory. Slant! Incomplete as they tried to angle that one right to the goal line. And again, the intended receiver that time was Torrey Ross right here in Jackson at Provine High School, but he couldn't hang on to the throw, just a little too wide for him.
A little high there on the intended pass by Kent. We get a chance to watch our keys to victory.
And they're all brought to you by Eric Pascal.
Indeed, Jackson State has to play heads-up football. Kent has to go and play back to his 2002 form. The defense got to play big, as well as the special teams has to come up big.
We'll check it on the other side of the ball as a big 3rd down and 10 here for Jackson State. Oh, off the ground. Kent cleans it up again. Maybe a shortstop running out of trouble. He's looking to the end zone. It is going to be incomplete. Almost intercepted on the goal line. Boy, I tell you, David Smith almost came up with a big intercept, which would have been his 2nd of the year. But what it does, it now sets up a 4th and 10 here for JSU.
Again, bad snap from the center. No blocking up front. You see a lot of white jerseys in pursuit. Good job. Keep coming. Here it is, an errant pass again. Almost, as you mentioned, number 47. David Smith almost comes up with the interception. Flag on the field.
Flag down. They have apparently a flag called on Alcorn, and it's going to be offside. So JSU buys a little bit of time now with a 3rd and 5 now. This time Kent will go under center. That's Chris Bates out of Richland, Mississippi, snapping the football today for the Tigers. They've won 8 in a row in this series. The 58 meeting between the Braves and the Tigers. Here's Kent, angles to the end zone, jump ball, knocked down on the corner coverage that time. Parks out of Miami, number 24 for Alcorn. Again, the 2 receivers actually got in a pretty close proximity to each other, giving an opportunity for somebody to cover both of them, as Manning along with Johnson were both there.
I think what was being called at the line of scrimmage there was a change of play by Kent. But again, the noise is so deafening, I don't think the receivers had a chance to hear it. As a result, as you mentioned, 2 receivers in the same area. 4th down, field goal attempt forthcoming.
Jaime Salazar comes in. He's actually been a late kicker. Has gotten only 2 field goal tries. 24 yards, make that 21 his longest, and he's 1 of 2. And the play clock had just gone off. Let's see if they're going to back up another 5 yards. I don't think they got it off. They did not. So a delay on Jackson State makes this a little more difficult now for Salazar.
Well, you know, Salazar was watching him as we both were watching both the special teams, the place kickers as well as punters doing pregame warm-up. He doesn't seem to have a lot of snap in his leg. Now, that ball was kicked from about the 15-yard line. Didn't look like he had a lot of snap in it at all. So I'm sure they're going to be looking for place kickers in the upcoming year.
Which has been a problem for JSU, and the fact that Salazar, as I mentioned, has been coming in late as a field goal kicker. And again, he'll have another try here, but it's got to come now from the 19, a 29-yard field goal, which would be his longest.
Good snap, good hold. He got a little snap into it then.
He did that time. Did he pull it? No, right over the edge of the left goal post, and it's good. So a 29-yard field goal by Salazar gives JSU the early lead as they've got it on the score of 3-0 now. Lim at this particular time. Alcorn deferred, gives it to Jackson State. Jackson State takes it in for at least 3 on the board. And, of course, their defense, of course, did not do what I know Dr. Thomas wanted to do to start.
Absolutely. It's sort of a backfire. Again, I think 2 penalties, unnecessary penalties, you might call them, kept the drive alive and allowed Jackson State to get within the red zone. And again, Jaime Salazar coming up with the 3-point conversion for the
Well, again, let's take a look at our HBCU and our Black College football poll from NBC, all brought to you by Imaran Pharmaceutical. And, of course, they are the official pain reliever for the SWAC and a brand that you can trust. Of course, Grambling and Southern on top. They've got a meeting in the Bayou to decide the West. North Carolina A&T, they're meeting South Carolina State today. They've already wrapped up the MEAC. Bethune-Cookman, a chance to go to the 1AA playoffs. And, of course, Alabama State, a chance still to represent the East in the SWAC. Albany State, along with Alabama A&M, they were cruising to the East title before being defeated last week by Alcorn. And, of course, you see the rest, including Alcorn State down tied for 10. Kickoff time now for Jackson State, and a return by Alcorn. They'll try to bring it out of the shadow of their end zone and bring it all the way out to beyond the 20 to the 21-yard line as Lonnie Teagle. He may be little in stature at 5'4", 150, but a heart as big as a house. And he'll be the guy that'll be returning kicks today for Alcorn. Well, the man that's in the cockpit now for the Braves, and a guy that's had quite a year himself. This is Donald Carey, C-A-R-R-I-E. And again, he has 2,592 yards, make that 67 yards. And you saw 21 as they've got the old swinging gate to start this one. Now, of course, here comes the offensive line. They still have the 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. Just one cover man over there. They'll have to slide into a pretty good zone over there. Unfortunately, they don't have it. Carey flushed out of the pocket. Good job by the defense. And Carey carries it all the way out beyond the 35-yard line. And down goes one of the coaches as Carey is thrown into the Jackson State bench. But we have seen Kent as a great runner. Now we've seen Carey as a guy that also can carry the leather.
Both of them have tremendous arms as well as great legs to get them up the field and down the field. Again, they came out with quad receivers to the right. This is almost reminiscent of the years of Jerry Rice when he was at Mississippi Valley State University under the head coach tutelage of the gunslinger, Coach Archie Cooley. One of the coaches may have gotten hurt on Jackson State sidelines. Got the heads up.
He got rolled under pretty good. Here's a fake on the end around. Boy, Carey carried that out nicely. Now he has to run. Sprints to the outside, and a first down play, and will be carried down. And again, on a good chase, it's Vince Dancy. Dancy, their linebacker, second in tackles with 54. But again, as they have another sprint out, let's take a look once again at our starting lineups, all brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica. Above the SUV, there's the backs and the receivers. Dumas, Williams, Johnson, Clark, and Turner again will be there, while the front line again will have an opportunity as they come out for another one of the special plays once again. And Lim, I don't know what the heck that thing is.
This is back to Sandlot. This is some trickery here. Jackson State has got a defense quite well, however.
They swing it out, and they get it in the hands of one of their receivers, Tyrone Parsons. And Parsons carries it ahead as they bring it out beyond. Enough for another first down as they move the chain here. And you can see that they're already starting to throw some things behind this offensive line. And Herman and Strauss, that's their 2 3-year starters on that left-hand side, protecting the backside of Carey. Offensive starters brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica. Again, above the SUV.
Double reverse.
Double reverse coming back. Now they pitch it back to Carey.
It's on its way. Quite well.
It's covered well by Jackson State. 3 defenders down there. As again, he chunked that ball on a long rope. Doing about 55 yards, didn't he?
65.
Ooh, mercy.
I counted the stripes, I tell you, Sam. Tremendous job. Alcorn looks like early going in this game, they're going to try to beat Jackson at any cost necessary, with trickery, by the way.
Chrysler Pacifica well above the SUV, bringing our defensive line. You see them. The linebackers are excellent. They'll be in good coverage. And, of course, the secondary well covered, as you've already seen. Of course, Alcorn coming out and throwing as Cooley and Gordon are probably the 2 best corners you'll find anywhere.
Indeed. Maybe encroachment here, defensive.
Second down, 10 yards to go. As the ball again at the 48-yard line in Alcorn territory, and a step off against Jackson State. So already the penalties, the interference against Alcorn State helping Jackson to get 3, and now a 5-yard step off against Jackson State, and Alcorn moves in to Tiger territory for the first time at the 47. Stack the running backs behind Carey. Terry out of New Orleans, played at McMahon High School there. McMain, excuse me. They hand off, first back through. They'll give it to Williams. Williams, the fullback, out of Birmingham, carries the pile ahead to about the 41-yard line.
I think it was a lot of aiding by the offensive lineman that gave him that extra shove. I think the sideline judge has it marked about 3-yard gain, so they bring it back.
Let's take a look at Eric Parstall and the keys for Alcorn State today, Lynn.
Keys for Alcorn State: Donald Carey has to have a hot hand. Parson leads the secondary as he's been doing all year, and the special team must score points.
Of course, that comes off of the kicking game, which will be very, very instrumental today. Shane Phillips, by the way, of Alcorn State, the special teams player of the week, is Carey. Looked like he wanted a handoff, but never got the connection. Tried to swing it out to the far side, and again, as Nate Hughes trying to dive for the catch, it'll bring up 4th down and short yardage here for Alcorn. And I believe they're going to do their first punt of the night. It will be Shane Phillips, number 30, out of Melbourne, Australia. Will step onto the field. A soccer player there will be kicking away for Alcorn State.
No worries, Mike.
That's put another shrimp on the bobby, right?
That's right. That's right. Tommy Kangaroo down sport. A tremendous leg, however. We watched him doing pregame warm-up, and I'm sure he's going to be a factor in this game today.
Well, in 7 punts last week against Alabama A&M, averaged 42.8 punts per game. And Lynn full well know you can hang out on an island back there as he angles a beauty to the far side. It's going to skip out of bounds at the 1. Oh, my, did he angle that, baby? That's, by the way, going to be an opportunity for him to put it inside the 20 for the 14th time this year. So Jackson State on the board, leading 3-0, but they're well in their territory. Will start the drive at the 1.
Mark Ray with you back at the NBC Sports Desk. Bethune-Cookman with a lot to play for today in the Florida Classic against Florida A&M. The Wildcats on the 1AA playoff bubble, and a win today would help them out, but they also need Villanova to beat Delaware, McNeese to handle Nicholls State, and Montana to beat Montana State, and Montana State is winning right now. Now let's send it back to Jackson for a big matchup in the SWAC East. Here's Sam.
Well, this crowd has certainly enjoyed a great afternoon of football already. It's been an interesting one. We've lost the referee with an asthma attack. We've had a couple of penalties that have directly affected the drive. And now a sensational punt out of the 1-yard line by Shane Phillips. Alcorn State puts the Tigers deep in their own territory and a little bit of trouble here, particularly the way Alcorn State can kind of lay their ears back here.
Absolutely. Great defense by the Braves of Alcorn. And not to say the 99 yards Jackson State has to go now, but we also lost one of Jackson State coaches on the sideline when Donald Carey was driven out of bounds.
So they try to get some short yardage situation as they try to push it from off their own goal line. Kennebrew, Lee, along with Alexandria will be the 3 running backs that will run out of the tailback. Morris and Martin are the 2 fullbacks. They will not alternate as much as we thought they might, as Morris will probably be in there most of the time if they go in the stacked eye situation. Right now they have the lone running back with wide receivers, 2 on the left. And, of course, the tight end on the right side with a slot back. Again, trying to push it in that defensive line. Bent a little bit that time, but a good stop by Hallett along with linebacker Wilson for Alcorn as Kennebrew gets it off the shadow of their own goal line, moves it out beyond the 5. It'll bring a 3rd down and 4 here, though, Lim. You got to just stay rather cautious inside that 10-yard line.
Indeed, most assuredly. The Braves are tough. They have a tough defense, and they got some great linebackers that have tremendous mobility. So Jackson State has to play it sort of casual here.
It doesn't mean that Robert Kent can't improvise a little bit. And, of course, Artie with 3 running touchdowns, a long way from that, and he will roll out. Looking to throw back against the grain, just in and out of the intended receiver, Chris Jones's hands out at the 20. And it'll be a 4th down and kick time for Jackson. Let's take you back downstairs to Barry.
Sam, we've seen now Robert Kent on the first 2 possessions have to scramble numerous times. His ability to do that is going to lessen as the game progresses. He's been suffering from a turf toe, and it's been very, very painful. I talked with him just before the coin toss. He said, hey, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. But he was noticeably limping during the pregame warm-ups and is limping a bit coming off the field right now. So obviously his ability to scramble and be flushed out of the pocket is going to be a big deficit for that offense.
Well, getting ready to kick the football away now is Dominic Addison. Addison is sophomore, and he gets a beauty out of there. Alcorn State will wait for this. A lot of contact. The ball's on the ground that time as Teagle was not given an opportunity to catch the ball. Of course, the halo rule has been waived this year, but I believe there was contact to throw one of his own men back into him, so a flag is down, and we'll sort this one out. By the way, Lynn Barney, I'm sure you know, was the intercept champion all time here at Jackson State. Also was the punter, averaging the 3rd best punting average in all of Jackson State history.
No harm, no foul. Looks like number 26, Michael Cooley, who was covering, and he was sort of incidentally bumped into the return man. Again, no foul. Good play by the officials.
And a good call on the fact they bumped him into it, and now it'll be Alcorn State. Now they've got excellent field position. They'll have it at the 43 of Jackson State. Carey back to throw. All kinds of time. It winds out. He finally gets a relief foul off to the near side down to Robert Lester. And Lester, the speedster, takes it up the left side and steps out of bounds very near enough for the first down. How about that for pulling the rabbit out of the hat?
That was a big rabbit as well. That was a jackalope because he was certainly a jackalope. He's got the long legs like an antelope. Great job here defensively, but again, it didn't come up with anything. They had him at big yard loss, but again, alertly hit it out to Lester. Lester gets it upfield, first down yardage inside the 35-yard line of Jackson State.
Donald Carey out of New Orleans, out of the shotgun here for Alcorn. Nice pass, crisply thrown out to the near corner, and gets it out to Kevin Clark, wide receiver out of Fayette, Mississippi. And again, short of a first down, but just barely. As now this offense is giving Jackson State a lot of looks right now. And again, a lot of receivers. You see the numbers on Kelvin Clark with, again, 15 catches, 170 yards. Good average, though, 11.3 per reception and a couple of touchdowns.
First down yardage inside the 25-yard line. The Braves on the prowl.
Otis Webb, our referee, took one look and said, nope, that isn't up. So it's first down for the Braves. They've not won in this classic since 1994 with a guy by the name of McNair. Quick pitch to the outside. This time it's Dumas, still on his feet, all the way down to the 2-yard line. Sidney Dumas out of Gaither, Mississippi, carries it down for a first and goal to go for the Braves, and their fans are ecstatic.
Get a chance to see it. This is a lot of determination by the young man. Sidney Dumas, senior running back, 5'11", 189. He wants to get it to the house. He makes a move, gains his balance, keeps his legs turning. Inside the 5, we'll call it first and goal from the 1-yard line.
Now they come with a wishbone in behind the quarterback, as you see the numbers on Dumas. 5 touchdowns for him, but he will not get beyond it on this one. And now a flag is down before the play can get underway. 7:23 to go in the first. JSU leading 3-0 on a field goal. Penalty's going to go against Jackson State.
Well, if it goes against Jackson State, you get 6 inches. If it goes against Alcorn, you get 5 yards. So what a time to commit a penalty, though.
So now it becomes somewhat academic on what Alcorn State's going to do now with a 4-down situation at the 6-inch line.
Yes, by the way, that was a substitution penalty that Jackson State didn't abide by.
Terry diving to the goal line behind that big front line. Strauss, Smalley, and Lowe. Guard, center, and tackle. Is it enough? The official's going to make sure, and it's going to be a touchdown. So Alcorn technically 1 yard, even though it came from 6 inches. Carey takes it in, and with that, Alcorn comes back to take the lead back as they've got it 6-3. The extra point still to come. And what a great run by Dumas to set that up, carrying it down to the 1-yard line. David McConnell will try the extra point. 34 of 37 this year for the Braves. And he missed it. Well, that could be an instrumental kick here with 6:56 left to go in the first quarter. And again, Alcorn coming back to take the lead, and they will be kicking off here to JSU.
David Conley, here it is. He just hooked it left. No pressure at all. Ball was set down. Good snap. Get a chance to watch Donald Carey sneak it in under those big guys up front. Was no question it was a touchdown. I wonder why the lineman waited so long to indicate the touchdown.
It's one of those situations, Lim, you've been there, when every play seems to be so of paramount interest. Certainly this rivalry dictates that, but Alcorn with a chance to head back to this SWAC championship game if they can get a victory and Alabama State lose. So I know these officials want to be everything right to the man. And going back to the walkthroughs by both coaches, one of the things that both of them said yesterday, Dr. Thomas there and James Bell on the other side, fellas, we've got to be crisp today, but we have to be excellent tomorrow. You can't make mistakes.
That's a good point. You have to drill that into your players. The way you practice will be invariably the way you play.
Well, Jones is not able to handle this one from O'Connell, and it's going to go out of the back of the end zone. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, where JSU, with their short-lived 3-0 lead, will have the football once again. Turf, toe, and all. Robert Kent will bring his troops out. It'll be interesting to see how well Alcorn covers. And maybe you've had a chance to watch their defense. We watched them yesterday. They were manning on the corners, but of course playing the cover 2 in the deep. But last series, they were all zone.
Indeed, they were. They played soft zone again, turned J-State around, and end up having them to have a punt. And then they drove the ball down with efficiency, and the results, quarterback sneak by Donald Carey.
And now they've got some room to work out at the 20-yard line on their third possession of the afternoon. And Kent will swing it out near side and try to do something with it. Before he ran that time was Tim Manning. Has some 4.4 speed if he'd been able to get there. I'm not sure he'd had much running room, though, as Alcorn played it on the corners extremely well. And I'll tell you another thing, those down linemen were out there in a hurry, including one of the linebackers, DeJuan Wilson.
Indeed, and the Alcornites tried to get on that ball because it could have very easily been a lateral pass, which was live. But again, the officials called it incompleted forward pass.
Second down, 10 yards to go for the Tigers. Clock stops at 6:53 here in the first half. Capital City Classic from Jackson. Out of the shotgun, Kent. Oh, he's hit as he lets the ball go. It may be on the ground, and it will be fallen on. And again, recovered here, I believe, by Jackson State. And the man off the bottom of it is going to be number 70, Michael Dansby. Will recover it. Let's take another look at that one.
Get a chance to watch it again. Just tremendous pressure. He waits a little too long to cock. He cocks up here. Pressure's there. Had a man wide open downfield as well. Again, soft zone. Here it is again. Number 55 scraping the corner. Coming up big. Coming up with the fumble there, but again, alertly, Jackson State gets on it. DeJuan Wilson is the young man that calls the fumble.
And back again in trouble.
Got a lot of room.
On a big play here, takes it out to the 29-yard line, and you saw how much room he had to give up before creating something. By the way, let me correct myself. It was Michael Johnson. I made mention that Dansby was the big lineman, number 70 back there, but again, the cover of the fumble was Michael Johnson that saved it for Jackson State.
Indeed, the wide receiver, senior, out of Brooksville, Mississippi. Here it is again. He's flushed out of the pocket. It's a cover run because great coverage downfield. Great tackle here just before the first down yard was gained. He missed it by 1 yard. It's 4th and 1, dictating a punt.
Dominic Addison with his second kick of the afternoon. Lester is back deep for Alcorn State, a little high on the snap. Addison booms a good one with some hang time on this one. And coming up for the catch at the 41-yard line. And down, they'll have it 1st and 10 for Alcorn State. So they'll get the ball back with a 6-3 lead. Well, here's a reminder that weeknights at 7 and 11 watch comprehensive coverage of national and international news that impact our world. MBC Network News is your source and your voice for news and information that concerns and considers the African-American perspective. Watch NBC News weeknights on NBC Network, your urban family channel. Sam Smith along with Lynn Barney and Barry Milligan here once again at the beautiful Jackson, Mississippi Veteran Memorial Coliseum. A great crowd, 45,000 last year. We may rival that today as Carey throwing for Alcorn. He swings it out to the far side, and it looked like that time that Hughes was actually so wide open as the defender, backpedaling that time, did not get back and may have slipped trying to come up to make the cover. And that was Gordon that slipped down over there.
Cletus Garden it was.
Let's take it back downstairs. Here's Barry again. Barry?
Sam, you noted the somewhat funky offensive formations that we saw from Alcorn, especially in the first series. Offensive coordinator John McKenzie is a JSU grad and a former all-SWAC performer in 2 seasons. He was a candidate for the JSU head coaching job last year before James Bell got the job. He has been known to run all kinds of formations. 20-plus formations is not unusual. In fact, the season high, 26 different formations in the victory over Mississippi Valley. But, you know, 387 yards a game, all of that means nothing if Alcorn loses today.
McKenzie also was the 4-year head coach at Delaware State before coming here to join Alcorn State as, again, their offensive coordinator.
He's got some kind of imagination, again, on the play. Alcorn was illegal procedure. They marked off 5 yards, bring up now 1st and 15.
You know, one of the things nice to watch in the sideline, Michael Hallett talking to one of the younger defensive linemen there, trying to get straight for the next time they're on the field. Here's a little square out to the corner, trying to get it out to the near side, intended that time for Alcorn as they threw it on the corner to Clark, but the pass well underthrown. That's maybe one of the poorer passes we've seen Carey throw in a long time.
I think he sort of squares the Sherman just a little bit as he had it cocked. Again, he was open if he delivered it on a string, but again, incompleted forward pass, 2nd down and 15.
That penalty moving the ball back to the 40-yard line. Brilliant sunshine here. The wind, which is up to 15 miles per hour, is at the back of the Braves here in this first quarter as we have 4:19 left to go. In motion is Johnson. There's that little flip inside. Johnson coming back and's got it. Down to the 30-yard line. It'll be short by 5, but a 10-yard pickup here by the Braves, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Nifty move by Johnson, number 2. He plays wide receiver, junior at 5'10", 180 pounds, out of Tuskegee, Alabama. Transferred from Tuskegee Institute. There he goes. Tremendous footwork, great speed and quickness. 3rd down and about 5.
One of the things you'll notice on both of these is this 3rd down plays. Not a lot of junior college kids. They get them as freshmen and they keep them around, and academically both schools have done well. They pitch it outside. And again, as they try to make the run with Dumas, it's going to be short. They needed to get to the 25, and they'll rule it down at the 26-yard line. Brings up a 4th down. And now a little decision time here for Alcorn State.
Big decision because they're well within their field goal yardage percentage for the year. Look like Carey is staying in the ball game. He's receiving a play. They might take a timeout to talk things over.
And Dr. Thomas enthusiastically calling for a timeout, so he will come to the sideline with his unit. And on the other side, it'll be Greg Johnson, the defensive coordinator for Jackson State. They'll visit with the Tigers as, again, a crucial 4th down play coming up. Don't forget, December the 13th, it's East meeting the West in the 2003 Jeep SWAC Championship. They plans to join us in Birmingham, Alabama, as the best of the best in the SWAC battle for the conference title. Visit www.mbcnetwork.com, then click on SWAC Conference logo for more information on the SWAC Championship December the 13th in Birmingham. Should be a great one, either Grambling or Southern after their Bayou Classic against either Alabama State or Alcorn State. So again, some familiar names there, but some others trying to knock on the championship door.
Indeed. You know, it's a crucial situation here. They've called timed out, and I'm sure they're trying to design a play that's going to work. I would go for it because of the tenacity that Alcorn has. Momentum going into this game now. It's only a few inches they need. It's 4th and less than a yard, so I definitely would go for it.
Alcorn State getting off to a 1-4 start after they lost to Texas Southern. They kind of changed things up a little bit and quite obviously had an opportunity to kind of regroup, and since that time they played well. Well, they're going to go for it here out of the wishbone. Carey may be autovising with the 2 tight ends in the game. Turns, hands off, and they'll get it to the line of scrimmage and just enough for the 1st down.
Didn't need much. Great job defensively on the right side for the Tigers of Jackson State University. Great job, but again, 1st down yardage gain. They'll stop the clock. They'll move the chain. The drive is kept alive. Get a chance to watch it again. Watch the right side. Good job, good blocking up front, but again, tremendous tackle there by number 56 coming up from his defensive spot to make the stop, James McGowan.
Well, James is a junior, 6'3", 230. Hernandez, Mississippi makes the stop. Lester on the carry, and now Carey is now going to have to take a timeout as he didn't like what was going on. Dumas went in motion, and I'm sure it caught Carey off guard, and he's going to have to call a timeout. And we'll take a break as well. 2:37 to go. First quarter, the Braves with the lead, 6-3. Well, of course, at halftime, we'll be enjoying the great talents of the two bands, Alcorn State and Jackson State. It's all part of college football in the HBCU. It wouldn't be a football game without the bands. And, you know, we had an opportunity to kind of hear them warming up yesterday as well. They worked about as hard as a football team getting ready for the game. Dr. Thomas may disagree with that, but nonetheless, they were trying to do their thing to get ready for a big, big day here in Jackson. Right now, a first down and 10 after Lester gained it up for the first down down to the 24.5-yard line for the Braves.
You know, before the season starts, the bands, most of them in the SWAC, they train 3 times a day, just like the teams does.
And, you know, they make about as much travel as anybody else in the entire country because they're in such high demand. Pitch comes back. On the near side, they get it once again to Burks. And Andrew Burks will carry it for some tough yardage up the near sideline down into around the 19-yard line there. I tell you what, McGowan, the big middle linebacker, James, is having himself quite a day today. 42 tackles. Big battle for big body at 6'3", 230 for the linebacker, but excellent coverage as you see.
Sincerely. A good force then. Good force, good field. The tackle was made eventually by number 26, Michael Cooley. Good job. However, 7 yards gained on the play. We'll call it second and about a long 4.
Cooley now has on the corner Clark to look after as Carey goes back the other way. It's going to be at the 5, fumbled away by Calvin Johnson, had it in his hands, may have took a shot just as he tried to reel it in that time. And the defensive coverage back for Jackson State, that time Dancy the linebacker.
Good job here, play action fake, going back, misdirection. Here's Carey, and look at it again.
Oh. Right
in and out of the hands of Corbin Johnson. Should have been a catch. He didn't WBIH. He has to watch ball in hands. It was a gutsy throw between 2 defenders. The ball should have been caught for first down yardage. Again, incomplete. Brings up third and about 4.
By the way, we watched them during the walkthrough. They used their tight end quite a bit in the walkthrough yesterday. Using most of his blockers right now, trying to set it up. They try to throw back that way. And it was the tight end. That was Turner. It was set up on the other side, and Carey was going to use him as a relief valve with a pulling guard that time of Strauss out in front of him, but overthrew him. Incomplete, brings up a 4th, and they will go for the field goal.
A lot of misdirection runs, a lot of misdirection pass. Carey fake one way, and again, as you mentioned, number 85, LaMarcus Turner came back out, had somewhat of a screen set up, incomplete, 4th down.
Well, O'Connell will try to hit this one from the 26-yard line, a 36-yard tray. And it's on its way, and it has plenty of room, and it's got the distance and the accuracy as well. So again, a 36-yard field goal here, again by O'Connell. David connecting on his 13th field goal of the year. And with that, he ups that lead to 9-3 in favor of Alcorn as they are in desperate need of a victory to try to keep pace with Alabama State. And of course, on Jackson State's part, they want to keep this string alive as they've won 8 in a row. Rather successful drive that time by Alcorn State, and going on that 4th down, you had an idea they were going to do it, but you got to make that work.
You certainly do. They made it work, barely made it work, but that's all you want is if we get the necessary yardage, we keep the drive alive. It was good defense provided on the right side defensively for Jackson State. There was great field, good force, and a good tackle after very few inches that was made. That's all they needed to keep the drive alive, and then culminated on a great field goal there by David O'Connell.
O'Connell kicking off. Jackson State will bring it out of there. Bringing it ahead is going to be Jones, the wide receiver. And out he comes to the 21-yard line. Well, Alcorn will go on defense. Jackson State again will have it. Dr. Thomas talked about it after that 1-4 start, of how they turned it around for the Braves.
It's time to turn things around. We're in a pretty good situation that we must do that if we want to fulfill one of our goals for this football season. That is to be in a position to represent the East, to be the team that represents the East Division of the SWAC in the championship game. And certainly we must beat Jackson State tomorrow on Saturday. to be in a position to do that.
Dr. Thomas, by the way, after leading Arkansas Pine Bluff as an instructor before he came back to Alcorn State. Pitch to the outside. Jackson State trying to do what they can on the wide pitch and keeping Kent a little bit more in the pocket and making the pitches. But again, Alcorn State, good job of stringing that defense. And you see that big front line on the defensive side that has had nothing but green lights for them as Brian Williams out of Memphis, Tennessee. Whitehaven High School makes the stop.
Great job there by the Braves on the right side of their defense, and a good trail, as you mentioned, by number 78, Brian Williams. Virtually no gain. We'll call it 2nd down and 10.
And will come in motion. Finally holds up is Michael Johnson. Shotgun for Kent. He gets it out. Finally gets it in the hands of one of the receivers he wants to. And ahead they come as they get it out to Tim Manning. Manning coming up with a reception, his 47th of the year. He is approaching 800 yards on the reception. And again, wants to try to make things happen here for JSU.
Good route here. They're in a soft zone. He sees it. He curls up, receives the ball. Great throw and great combination catch by Tim Manning from Kent. Good job. Most effective pass thus far today.
You saw him turn inside the left corner. Tyrone Parson, who has 5 intercepts for Alcorn. Kent with a lot of time to throw. Now it breaks down, and now he's running for his life. Williams misses on the tackle. Comes out to the near side, and that definitely was the last option of getting the ball ahead as they get it out to number 85, and that's going to be Scott Morris out of the backfield. And they'll lose yard on the play. They lose about 2.
Well, it had chaos written all over it from the offset, Sam. Great pressure applied by the Braves. The Braves have been applying tremendous pressure on Kent all afternoon. And what I don't understand, Jackson State is yet to throw a screen. There's been ominous pressure by that defensive line. And now a timeout is being called.
Well, that's going to do it for the first quarter of the game as the Braves have had a 9-3 lead. And again, as they move and shake here for the first half, we'll be back with more and a special presentation of a ring here at the Capital City Classic. Jackson State with the first big.
Doug Stewart here at the Geico NBC Sports Desk. Turn your head if you don't want to see, because we will show this later. A&T versus State. Reese Campbell to Tavares Morgan, 7-0 at the Carolina Classic in Charlotte, North Carolina. In the second quarter right now, it's 14-0. South Carolina State on top. Could this be the big defeat this season? Let's send it back to the guys at the game.
Alcorn State, an opportunity to move on to the championship, and you know sometimes you have a chance to kind of look beyond what you're doing today, but I don't think that's the case with Dr. Thomas and the Braves today.
Not at all. I think he has tunnel vision. He's not using peripheral vision whatsoever. He's looking straight ahead at this game. This is the game that's foremost in his mind, and I think he's instructed his team to have that same type of vision.
Well, their defense digs in on this 2nd and 12 for JSU. Another low snap. Kent's had to bend over a lot today. He swings it out to the far corner, and they'll get it out of bounds at midfield. And the receiver that time is Courtney Young, wide receiver out of Memphis Ridgeway High School. Just shy of a first down. They'll miss it by 2. 3rd down and 2 here for the Tigers.
They haven't had success that much running, as you mentioned. Great throw and catch combination from Kent to Courtney Rogers. Brings up about a 3rd and about a short 2. We'll call it a long 2. They haven't had the success running. It hasn't been a lot of imagination, particularly like the imagination that Alcorn has displayed. So Barry called it a funky offense.
Indeed it was. They did run a lot of different sets there, that's for sure. 3rd and 2. Kent now under center. Bates with the snap. And again, they'll get the first down as they move it deeper and into Alcorn territory. As again, the running back, Kennebrew, will carry it. Well, let me correct it. That's going to be Morris. Morris, the fullback, got the handoff. Kennebrew following him. And it's going to be Morris for the first down. He's rushed only 24 times all year long, but gets a big 4 or 5 yards right there.
Morris wears number 85 as a running back in tribute of his brother, who was a great wide receiver here at Jackson State, Sylvester, that went to the league that's playing.
First down and 10. Kent again. It's got to be nailed as he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And again, that coverage very much came up for Alcorn State. Well, we welcome you to Veteran Memorial Coliseum here in Jackson, Mississippi, as the capital of the great state of Mississippi welcomes the Capital City Classic, Alcorn State, Jackson State. Yours truly, Sam Smith, along with NFL Hall of Famer Lynn Barney and Barry Milligan today for all of our coverage on the field. And, of course, that'll include some great halftime band performances. Right now, it's a 9-3 game with Alcorn State in the lead. Just underway in the second quarter. Second down, same 10. Kent throws complete. Oh, what a hit. But what a great catch on the near sideline as they got that one ahead. And a catch by Tim Manning, and he took the shot on the other side. And Tim Batts really nailed him, and he's got the catch. What a way to hang on.
Here it is. If you're in your living room, hold your popcorn. Watch it. Look out. Great catch. Way to concentrate. The biggest thing, it was a hit. The hit wasn't that tenacious. The only thing that made it look bad, he was off the ground. He had no leverage. But a great job in concentrating on the catch.
Good job that time by Robert Kent to read where the defense was. They had covered the underneath people, and he went long with it. Hand off again. They'll try Morris, the fullback. The lone running back behind Kent will gain about 3 on the play. Second down, 7 yards to go for Jackson State. This is a big drive for them, even though it's early in the second quarter. They've been kind of stymied back in their own territory. Their average field position was at 17-yard line in their own territory to start all the other drives, while Alcorn had started at their own 39. A little better field position. One of your keys today was win the field position battle.
Absolutely. This could be a momentum drive for Jackson State if they can take it in from this on this series.
Play clock winding down very closely as Kent gets the throw. It's going to be intercepted. And back it comes the other way.
Ill-advised.
Alcorn State will get it out to the 12-yard line as the ball is intercepted and brought back the other way. And an excellent intercept that time. Alcorn State stepping in was Jeffrey Hobbs, defensive back out of Mendenhall, Mississippi, and a junior college transfer. What a big defensive play for the Braves.
Get a chance to watch it again. It was really ill-advised. It was great coverage here. It got cover 2 on him. There's a man playing him short, a man playing him long. Kent tried to force it in to no avail. It comes up, timely interception for Alcorn to stymie the drive and to turn the ball over for its offense on the 12-yard line, first and 10.
So now Alcorn with the lead will try to get some running room. Burke will try to slide to the outside, will not get a lot of room as the defense, particularly on the corner, knife down to make that stop. And again, it comes up. Leotra Tanner comes up. Tanner starting in place of Anthony Dillon, who's normally the free safety. Dillon under the weather today with an injury. And Tanner getting the start at the free safety. Also at the strong safety, Kenyell Morgan is starting ahead of Marcus Kraft. So they changed both their safeties for this game today for Jackson. No gain on the play. Second down and 10, still at the 11-yard line.
Play action.
Terry back in his own 2, throws to the tight end, and that time Turner catches it out at the 20-yard line. They'll move the sticks, but move the first stick, but not enough for a first down. They'll need about 3 yards on a third down play. But again, they're using those tight ends yesterday, and they're coming back to them again now. Good
job here. Good rollout pass. Good play action fake. Throws the linebackers. They have to respect the run. Good tackle there by number 7, Darian McRae, the linebacker, who's a junior, 6'1", 195, out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Carver High School there in Winston. Third down for the Braves. They come with a power eye in behind them now. Strong side to the right behind their tight end. They turn, hand off. No place to run to, as Jackson State said, no, you don't. Deion DuBois, their fine defensive tackle, stacking it up inside, but he had help from the rest of his teammates. And there is no gain. May have lost a yard on the play. Nonetheless, it's fourth down for the Braves. That was a huge defensive stop there for JSU.
Most assuredly, Sam. And this is how defense is played on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And was really one of those Motown reviews. Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
And any way you say it, it still sounds good, doesn't it? Getting ready to kick the football is going to be Shane Phillips, who was the special teams player of the week in the SWAC this past year. Oh, he gets a dribble. And he's going to get something out of there. Not what he wanted, though. It's going to take a bounce and finally down at around the 37-yard line. So the bad snap out of the long snapper that time as he had to field it. And then again, it'll be 1st and 10 for Jackson State. So the defense again does their job. And again, the low snap. Phillips survived, though, as he got it out of there. And somehow gets a very short kick. But JSU now down 9-3 will get the ball back as they head for what they hope will a go-ahead touchdown.
Braves are up 9-3 as we welcome you back to Jackson here. And we've talked about how intense this rivalry is. Even with Wavy Dave and the Baby Tigers got into the act, guys. The Braves fans said not only were they after Jackson State, they were going to be after the Baby Tigers too. And that made things even more bitter as we got closer to game day.
Well, it kind of came to a head during the pep rally yesterday as they pushing and shoving going on. Actually, Ken Williams out of Birmingham, their starting fullback for the Braves, was the man that made that comment. And he is probably going to be talked to by the Coach Thomas. Say, you know, if you got an opinion, wait till after the game to voice it, please.
Absolutely. And I can see him talking about jumping Wavy Davy, the adult Tiger,
yep,
but not the babies, not the posterity now.
Come on now.
Let's not go that far. Don't take me there.
Jackson State out of the shotgun. Goes underneath. They've got a receiver with it, and ahead they go for another 1st down as Jackson State will move the change. Courtney Rogers, the tight end out of Memphis, Fairleigh High School, makes his catch of the afternoon. You know, he's done a good job along with several other people, including Kenneth Davis and Johnny Neal. Their tight ends have kind of getting themselves in an open field where they needed to be, and they get one big one there.
Indeed, it was a determined run. He certainly had met opposition about 5 yards before he got to the 1st down yard marker. Tremendous effort to keep the drive alive. 1st and 10.
By the way, Kent had gone 5 for 12 coming to that series with an intercept. And off to Kennebrew, and the freshman out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Parkview High School will carry it inside the 25. Well, we'd like to remind you that we also salute those that have done well on the field, but also remember the classroom. Our scholar student athlete belongs to the quarterback, Robert Kent, a 3.3 grade point average in engineering. Young man from Indianola, Mississippi, not only a great player, outstanding student. Robert, congratulations.
First-rate #1 tennis player. He's from the home of the great blues player, B.B. King.
Wow.
Got a lot going for him.
2nd down, 7 to go. He's got a lot in his face right now. Release valve, gets it out to Ross. Ross will take it to the 25. That'll be a loss of a yard. As again, the secondary came up supporting well that time. Parsons from his left corner finally corrals him and drops him. Let's take a look on the other side for our student athlete, and of course it belongs to their linebacker, Omega Logan. Logan out of DeSoto, Texas, 3.10 grade point average in mathematics. So Logan and Kent are 2 student athletes of the week, as saluted by MBC Sports.
We say congratulations to both of those athletes. Just tremendous student athletes as well. Let's mark that distinction.
Out of the shotgun, a big 3rd down play here for JSU. They get it ahead, and a completion down to the 15-yard line. Goes to Chris Jones, the wide receiver. He is finally going to be nailed back there that time by Mayorga, one of the dropping linebackers, but it's not enough as the 1st down takes it to the 13-yard line. And now JSU, with 7:46 to go, gives their crowd something to cheer about as they're looking to take the lead.
Crowd is very optimistic again. They came out of the red zone last possession with nothing. Again, it's a confidence builder. They can get it into the end zone. If not, at least get 3 points out of it. It will help salvage it.
Keep in mind, even though it's very early, a missed extra point by Alcorn State. Kennebrew, running room to the 5, 2, touchdown, JSU. Kennebrew gets only his 2nd touchdown of the year.
Here's a snap. It was a tough one. It was bobbled a little bit by Kent there, but again, quick hands. But the big play was Kennebrew driving it in from 13 yards out for the touchdown to draw it to a knot at 9-9. The point after touchdown is coming to see if Jackson State can take the lead.
Salazar will be kicking the ball from the 10. Ooh, came very close to having them blocked, but it's good. And JSU on a conversion of their extra point will take the lead back. They led 3-0 early on and now lead it by the score of 10-9. UNC nothing yes as the Capital City Classic rolls on.
Mark Ray with you back at the MBC Sports Desk. Florida A&M picked #1 to win the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference this season on the Hoop Tip. Don't forget to join us next weekend live from the 1AA playoffs as we announce the 2004 MBC college basketball schedule that will conclude from the MEAC tournament in March. Now let's send you to the SWAC matchup in Jackson. Here's Sam and Lim.
You can see this crowd setting comfortably, getting ready to see what's going to happen now as JSU will be kicking off with a 1-point lead. 7:20 left to go before the halftime show by the bands.
Well, they regained the lead again.
Yep.
They had the early lead by 3 points, and then Alcorn went on top by a touchdown. The missed extra point, it may loom to be very big in this ball game, and Jackson State now back on top, 10-9.
Ashley Ashler kicking off to the goal line. Has it at the 2, and ahead they come. And again, that great speed by Teagle. Lonnie Teagle, 5'4" on the run. He's got to beat the kicker. Up the sideline, he'll be caught and dropped down with a touchdown-saving tackle by Chris Jones from behind. But Teagle coming into the game and needed only 19 yards to surpass 1,000 yards in return for Alcorn State. Does that easily on this one.
Great job here. He gets it on the right side. Good blocking here. He cuts it back to the left. Avoids one tackler. Picks up a good block here at the 30-yard line. He's off to the races. Here's the kicker. And kickers, I don't know why they try to make tackles. But again, great job by Chris Jones, who's the safety on the kickoff cover team that came up stopping a touchdown.
I never thought I'd hear you say that as a punter here at JSU. You try to make a couple of tackles.
But I was a defensive back.
I hear you, brother.
Too, so.
I hear you. So a big run back by Alcorn State. And now that tennis ball has been volleyed back into JSU's defensive court. Here's Carey to the sideline.
Great hand!
Away. Jackson State's defense by Cletus Gordon. Gordon called one of their better defensive cover guys on the corner. Does the job there. He has 4 interceptions for the year. As that time Alcorn trying to get it ahead to Clark.
Great job here. Great coverage. He didn't give up. He was beaten, however. But because the ball having some air on it, Cletus Gordon got back, got his hands into the play, incompleted forward pass. Great job here by number 4, Cletus Gordon.
You see those numbers on him with those 4 intercepts.
Absolutely.
Does a nice job on the corner. That time, as you made mention, closed after the ball had some air at hang time. Trying the middle this time as they knife it ahead for Alcorn, and again they move it down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line.
We have a hurt man.
And I believe we get a man down. We do. You see on one sideline they continue to talk to their defense for Alcorn as we have a man down and will be looked at by the training staff.
Okay, let's do it that way.
It is Jeremy McCoy, number 29, a freshman running back out of Dallas Carver. But he's up and under his own steam, and that's great to see.
It is. May have been just a little stinger. We hope that's what it was. Get a chance to see it again, who he clashes into. There it is, right at the knee. Coming over from his linebacker position to throw a cross body block on him to bring him down after a 7-yard gain. 3rd and 3.
Out behind center. Good look at Donald Carey. Young man out of New Orleans. Back to throw. In the pocket. Throwing complete to the tight end. Boy, they worked on this yesterday. And LaMarcus Turner out of Summit, Mississippi, and a transfer from Southwest Mississippi Community College makes another huge catch. 1st and goal for the Braves.
Indeed he did. He caught him in a soft zone. Again, no pressure applied to Carey. He sat in the pocket confidently and aired one out to his tight end, LaMarcus Turner. 1st down and goal inside the 5-yard line.
What a target. Turner is 6'4", 270, but you can see he's got some pretty good wheels under him once he catches the ball.
Indeed.
Carey. Split running backs. One running back behind him is Burke. He dives to the goal line. Touchdown on a second effort. Andrew Burks takes it in for his 6th touchdown of the year for Alcorn. And the lead changes again. So the Braves falling down on a good drive that time by JSU. Come right back, and indeed an excellent kick return that time by Teagle. Sets up a rather easy drive, it appears, there for the Braves as they score. And they're going to go for two. Carey rolling. Throws to the corner of the end zone. Knocked down at the last minute. It'll be incomplete. And let's take another look at that touchdown again, as great effort on the second try here by Burke.
Get a chance to see it. Here we go. Andrew Burks penetrates his way through and just lunges back. He wasn't going to be denied. He saw the goal line. This is individual effort. Great job here. Nice maneuver right at the goal line. Maintained his balance and did a backward somersault into the end zone for the score. The missed point after touchdown. Alcorn's back on top, 15-10.
Hazelhurst, Mississippi, the hometown of Burks, as he scores his sixth. And again, it is now a 15-10 lead by Alcorn. Well, there's always plenty of action coming away on MBC. That, of course, continues all the way through the entire football and basketball season. And don't forget, the playoffs will be coming up in 1AA. North Carolina A&T versus an opponent to be decided after this final week. And, of course, their pairing show coming on Sunday. Next Saturday, 1 o'clock. And, again, the side of the game also will be up for grabs. What a nice run they've had at North Carolina A&T as we kick off here with Alcorn kicking deep.
Sports Desk at 12:30. He's got some blockers. He's got some blockers.
Chris Jones. And Jones, after Teagle ran one ahead. Now Chris Jones says, all right, I can do that. And he does out to the 45.
He's a great athlete. Remember, on the opening kickoff, he was the one that saved the touchdown. Now he's running it back.
Yep.
He almost had a touchdown. Great job. He's going to need some oxygen at halftime.
I was going to say, he may be a little pooped after this one's over. Well, the offense of Jackson State, they have now been rallied here with 5:44 and trailing by 5. And again, Jackson State has won the last 8 in a row. Last time Alcorn won, they won 4 in a row from 91 to 94. Air McNair throwing mostly to his brother Tim as they won 4 straight in this great rivalry. Hand off. They got Kennebrew to the sideline. Only knocked out of bounds on the corner that time as they get it ahead. And it's going to be ahead for another first down. 21-yard run by Kennebrew.
Great job. Good blocking at the point of attack on the left side. Offensively, Jackson State's running game has seemed to be kindled here now. Late in the second quarter, 5 minutes, 38 seconds to go in this. The Capital City Classic. Good job by Kennebrew. First down in time.
You saw on the sideline Brian Green, a junior backup quarterback from Magnolia, Mississippi, and South Pike High School, sending in the signals that time from their offensive coordinator, Leon Perry, and the head coach, who got a timeout called. So timeout taken by Jackson State with 5:38 left to go, and Robert Kent, again, who's had himself this kind of afternoon with 8 for 15 for 81 yards, but has been intercepted once down on the goal line where they were marching for another score.
Certainly was an ill-advised pass, as I indicated. Double coverage. They was playing cover 2, in and out. Corner playing out, safety playing in. He threw it right into the safety's hands for the interception to stall the drive.
Now, I realize that you've got to stay with your game plan. It's 5:38. You're down by 5. Do you try to put any new wrinkles in, or you just try to stay pretty steady right here?
You can't put any new wrinkles in right now, Sam. I'll tell you why. Because they're right outside of the scoring zone. They've worked arduously all week on plays in this area, so they can't put anything new in it. It's going to take the confidence away from the players, so they got to stick with the game plan right in this scenario. Kent's got to come up big.
Boy, he's had himself a tremendous career throwing as he enters the game for over 60 yards for his career. Let's head downstairs. Here's Barry again. Barry?
We have seen, Sam and Lem, great communication between the last 2 series, between quarterback and coach on the Jackson State sideline. Regardless of whether they're ahead or behind, there has been absolutely no panic whatsoever. Very calm. Oddly, a calm confidence. And right now, I think you have to give sort of an advantage here. Even though the Tigers are behind on the scoreboard, they seem to think that they're not going to lose this game.
Well, Kent may be the guy that tries to bail him out as he is Houdini again. He's got some people downfield, and he's going to throw it ahead. And again, they get it to the tight end, Davis.
I like what you said, Barry, and you could see this. You could see it unfolding. But what has to happen where the panic should not be initiated is by the quarterback. I don't think he needs to continue to try to scramble, drop back like he does here, takes his time. He initiates the run, but again, good job by the Braves of Alcorn. Forces him back, looks downfield. There he is, open man. Takes it down inside the 10-yard line. First and goal for the Tigers of Jackson State.
We have another Alcorn player that's down after making that stop. By the way, a correction. That was Scott Morris again, who's the fullback with number 85 out of the backfield, was making the reception rather than Kenneth Davis, the tight end, who had just run an earlier pattern in that same area. And you see getting up, one of the fine defenders here is Tyrone Parsons, the great left corner for them, all Southwest Athletic Conference last year, all SWAC out of Memphis. Again, the senior with 5 intercepts coming in. One of 9 of the top 1AA defensive players in last year, selected by several publications, and he is out for the moment. And now Jackson State with a first and goal to go after that great catch by Morris. Have it down at the 8-yard line. Passing yardage, you see Jackson State a little bit of an advantage there with 107 so far. Kent checks off at the line of scrimmage. Big rush up the right side. It's going to catch him as Kent throws that one away. And a huge penetration inside defensively that time for Alcorn State as blowing through the right side.
Russ Gordon.
Yep.
If we could see this again, no blocking on the backside. They got to jump. He was almost offside, but wide open in the end zone was the intended receiver he was throwing to was Tim Manning. It would have been an easy score. Good job by Ross Gordon coming up with the hit.
And you can see his numbers on tackles for losses. He will not get one there as the ball was away in an incompleted pass, but you saw that he did his job. And you know, out of the corner of my eye, I saw that early penetration by Alcorn, almost anticipating a flag, but they didn't get it.
Didn't get it at all.
Kent, handoff, goes again to Morris. And Scott Morris out of New Orleans will carry it down to the 5-yard line. What a versatile player Morris is. You've seen him catch the ball. Running
give it to me. He said, give it to me.
Absolutely.
He's fired up. He's fired up. But you're right. He's a great athlete. He catches the ball well coming out of the backfield. He's a good runner. Get a chance to watch it at the bottom of the play here. A little extracurricular down here in the end zone. You take this. No, you take this. No, you take that. Come on, guys.
That, of course, was Jeremy Hobbs, who may be walking a little higher right now after that intercept. Play clock down as Kent just gets it away. Running in a 3rd down. They're possibly a holding on Jackson State as he throws it away in the corner. But a potential holding call here will back them up.
Albert Stinson will be my guess. The right tackle.
Stinson out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama Central High School. Sophomore starter. Actually started as a freshman as well. So he's going in his 2nd full year as a starter here for JSU.
Again, I say it to this date. 4 minutes and 16 seconds going. And before the half, Sam. As ominous as the defense has played for Alcorn, I've yet to see a screen or a draw.
Yep. You know, they flared it on both sides, but they just haven't set it up as well as you might think they would, particularly when we were told by everybody on their coaching staff that you wanted to get in the hands of Jones and Manning and make them do something with the ball.
Absolutely.
And, of course, come back to the tight ends.
3rd down and goal from the 15-yard line.
So after the holding penalty called on the Tigers, Kent, good protection this time, throws the little out, trying to get it out to Jones on the far side. All kinds of contact, but incomplete. It brings up 4th down.
Panic a little bit, I believe, then set in on Robert Kent. Should have been a flag. There he is. He's still holding on to him. There it is. Official is right there. Never looked at him. You can see him. He was almost stripping his jersey off, trying to take it over the shoulder pads. But again, to Alcorn's avail, no penalties.
Parsons, of course, was the man that was injured earlier, unfortunately back in there, as the field goal try now will be coming here by Salazar. It'll be a 32-yard try, which would be a career high for him. Almost got it blocked. He's got the leg on it, and it's going to be no good. Just slips off the left up post. So Salazar missing from 32 with a chance to draw his club back within 2. They trail now 15-10, but good catch once again by Salazar here for JSU, but they go to the well, and it comes up dry.
James Hartfield, the young man that just touched him, is a kicker when I played here at Jackson State. He's been a coach for a number of years here.
Don't forget Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock and again at 8:30. MBC Network rocks with Rock. Watch back-to-back episodes of the hit sitcom Rock featuring Charles Dutton and Ellie Joyce. Get your laughs on Wednesday with Rock. Sam Smith along with Lynn Marty. Barry Milligan with us here today at Veteran Memorial Coliseum. Once again in the stadium in Jackson. There's that little screen set up to the far side by Alcorn. They'll screen it ahead, and they get a lot of running room on the far side. Finally banged out of bounds as they'll move the chains out to the 33-yard line. Again, they move it ahead that time with Johnson, who had caught a big pass earlier in the game and makes another big reception here for the Braves.
Again, because Jackson has been blitzing, they've been applying a lot of a blitzes. Alcorn's offensive coordinator said, let's screen them. As a result, 15 yards on the play. 1st and 10, balls at the 35-yard line.
Michael Ellis, the offensive line coach, doing a good job of schooling his guys on what to do on the screen. They did their work. And, of course, Carey and Johnson hooked up out of the wishbone. They give it to Lester. Running room, another 12-yard gain on the play. As Robert Lester out of Batesville, Mississippi. South Panola High School gets another big gain here for the Braves.
We'll call it 13. Looked like the official marked it up 1 yard higher than the 12 yards you gave him. Good job here. Slashes through. Twist and turn. We'll call it a 13-yard gain. Again, 1st down and 10.
So, as they had it in their own territory after the missed field goal, Alcorn had a couple of big plays. That was a nice running play. Johnson on an excellent reception earlier. And they near the mid-stripe. Carey underneath. Oh, right off the arms that time of Nate Hughes. Incomplete. As he was coming back once again and taking a look to see what he could do with the action. Well, it was a opportunity for us to salute our player of the game, brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica. Well above the SUV, and that happens to be Donald Carey. And look at the numbers he put up. And again, with 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 53% of his passes against Alabama A&M that was ready to celebrate to win the East, but they knocked them right out with a big win. 20-15. Congratulations again to the SWAC player of the week.
Congratulations.
Carey under pressure. Gets it out.
Complete.
A diving try will be complete. Alcorn will move it back to the line of scrimmage at best as Burks out of the backfield makes the catch. Tell you that time a good rush put on by Vincent Dancy. Dancy, the strong side linebacker for Jackson State, comes up and rushed him to try to get that pass away.
Tremendous job by the freshman linebacker. 6'2", 205.
Got some good size in those linebackers. 6'2", 205. McGowan, I mentioned, 6'3", 230, and Thompson at 6'2", 220. So their linebackers have excellent size for Jackson State.
They're in a blitz.
Carey back to throw. Still plenty of time to throw. He's airing it out. They try to throw it to the far side, and they get it at the 5-yard line. A diving catch made that time by Kelvin Clark, the wide receiver out of Fayette, Mississippi, and Johnson County High School. And Carey airs it out and gets a 1st and goal.
Kelvin Clark, here it is. Good coverage here. Little man-to-man, little holding. He's pushed here a little bit. You see him? He's pushed a little bit by Kelvin, but again, the official had his hand on the flag, but he didn't throw it. Great pass and catch combination. 1st down and goal at the 5 for the Braves of Alcorn.
Michael Cooley that time, the right corner, looked a little indecisive. He was going to try to run after the ball or try to jump and knock it down. Wishbone for Alcorn at the 5. Handoff. Robert Lister to the outside. He'll be nailed at the line of scrimmage. Good penetration down inside again. McGowan, that middle linebacker again, penetrated in to knock him down. Got some help as well. Coming in is Bobby Mays out of Macon, Mississippi.
Yes, number 90 right in, along teaming up again, as you mentioned, with James McGowan to make the stop. Terrific job on a dangerous runner inside the 10-yard line.
Mays, one of the many graduate students. He's already graduated and playing his final year here for Jackson State. It's 2nd down and goal to go at the 5.
Play action.
Carey throwing to the end zone. Oh! knocked down at the goal line, and that time a near intercept as an excellent defensive play by Dancy, the linebacker. Got a hand on it, but just couldn't hang on. Incomplete.
He's got the wrong hand on it. He jumped up on his right foot. Here he is. He's on the right foot, got his left hand on it. He's a right-handed guy. He couldn't bring it in. What a turnover that would have been inside the 10-yard line at the goal line.
You see who they were throwing to? The tight end Turner, and the other secondary receiver in that set was Lester out of the backfield. 3rd and goal to go for Alcorn.
Blitzing.
They throw it, they dump it inside. Touchdown as they throw it over the middle that time, and it is complete for the score for Alcorn, and they celebrate a bit as that time to Barry Lott, a wide receiver freshman, makes the catch for the Braves.
To Barry Lott, number 80, comes up with the reception in the end zone for the score. Alcorn pulls ahead, 21-10, awaiting the point after touchdown. 1 minute, 58 seconds to go in this first half.
So again, as Alcorn, again using big run backs, big runs, pass and runs by Carey. Now we'll go for 2 again. 21-10 the score. This time Carey to the end zone. He tries to angle it to the corner, just too tall for the intended receiver, Kelvin Clark, and it goes incomplete.
Get a chance to watch the touchdown again. Here he is backing up, doing what he does best. It's Carey hitting his wide receiver, number 80, to Barry Lott. Good job, good concentration, had a defensive man draped all over him, but again, great job in watching the ball in his hands.
So as they celebrated on one side with a 21-10 lead, I'd like to remind you that the Battle of the Bands is coming up at halftime. All will be brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well above the SUV. Yeah, we see you. Are you ready? They're ready. They've been working hard, and they want to put on their show on the Battle of the Bands at halftime. That's the beauty of NBC Sports, giving not only the football players basketball later on, but those from the outside, as they have such a great show at halftime, an opportunity to show their stuff at halftime.
Most assuredly.
McConnell will be kicking off for Alcorn State. Standing back deep, ready to receive. Again, another excellent Turner and Davis, but this will be squibbed to the near side. It'll be out of bounds. And it'll be excellent field position here for Jackson State with 1:58. Well, one of the things about any coach, if you've got a good player, you're very, very proud of him. And certainly Dr. Thomas has to be proud of his quarterback.
Early on in the season, he was having some growing pains with that, and he wasn't playing very well. He wasn't making very many good decisions. And as a result of that, we struggled offensively. But in the last 4 or 5 weeks, Donald has made some outstanding decisions with respect to where he should go with the football, to whom he should throw the football, and where he should run the football based on what defensive front our opponents were in.
So at good decisions, anytime you think about a heady ball player, that's exactly what you want. In that situation, good look at Donald. You see the numbers for the day, 161. The touchdown pass, 10 of 19, which is pretty much right where he would like to be as far as his percentage is concerned. He came in hitting roughly about 58 to 9% of his passing opportunities.
Whip kick.
It'll be fielded at the 20. And ahead it comes, this time by Cleotis Gordon out to the 35. Swarming tackle there by the Braves. They'll give him forward progress to the 36, however, where it'll be first down and 10 to go. So 1:52 to go now, a 21-10 score facing JSU as the special team for Alcorn, led by number 26, Brandon Brown, the junior, out of Reserve, Louisiana, East St. John's High School there. So it's Coach James Bell finishing out his first year as the head coach for Jackson State. Tries to dial in what he wants to do on this final 1:52 of the first half. And you know the Tigers would like to get some kind of positive something going to the locker room.
Most assuredly. It'll be a confidence builder. Again, they've turned it over a couple of times when they had it in scoring zones.
Good coverage by Alcorn. Faces Kent to scramble. He's throwing to the far sideline. It'll be over the head of the intended receiver there. And again, Tim Manning realized he'd run out of real estate on the far side and didn't go after that one as hard as he wanted to because he didn't have a chance to catch and come down. Incomplete.
He's being very elusive when it comes to sacking him when the protection for his blocking breaks down. But again, Barry talked about it early on about the turf toe that he has, or a bad toe, and he hasn't been moving around or throwing the ball once he does stop with any type of effectiveness.
By the way, he's thrown the football nearly 340 times and has but 12 intercepts, which included one today. There's some movement on the front that time as Brian Williams, playing over the center, may have made contact for Alcorn and encroached. That'll help the Tigers with a 5-yard step off, if that indeed is the case. And they step it off. By the way, you are playing, of course, as our referee for the afternoon. Suffered a asthma attack and had to be replaced by Otis Webb, who's now our referee. He was the head linesman coming to the game, so they're playing without one additional referee on today's game.
They certainly are, and they're doing a great job after they had to switch hats.
There's Mr. Webb. Nice job by Otis and company so far. Minute 41 to go. A second down, 5 yards to go here for Jackson State. Wind picking up. I think you can hear it in the background. Low snap. Ken has to get the dribbler in the pocket, still looking. He'll try to run. Gets away from the tackle at the 45. Gets it down to the 48-yard line. Well, he's finally going to be nailed again by Brian Williams, the right tackle, number 78 for Alcorn State. But again, the Houdini act of Kent gets him enough for the first down and keeps this drive alive with a minute 31 to go.
Well, the Houdini act has been performed all day by Robert Kent because of the center. Let's watch Chris Bates. He's rolled him all day. It's like he's playing dice. He's been rolling the ball. Good job here by Robert to maintain the possession and get up and have the wherewithal to gain the first down yardage. First and 10.
Another low snap. He gets it and gets it out quickly this time. Gets it ahead to Tim Manning. Manning's going to gain only 3 on that play, which looked like it had the potential of gaining even more. Logan was in there to make one of the stops and got some help on the other side from Wilson as the 2 linebackers collaborated on the stop for a gain of 3. Second down 7. Clock rolls as we have a minute 1 left to go. And now they are bringing it out to the sideline as it'll be on the hash mark on the near side, and the timeout has been called. So Jackson State has called the timeout as they're trailing by 11 with a minute left to go in the game. Well, we'd like to remind you that there's all kinds of things going on, but wait a minute. It's not your typical boxing match.
It's not?
It's not your typical fighters. And the ballroom isn't your typical setting. But it all comes together on Friday nights on MBC Network. Don't miss another round of ballroom boxing with the rookies trying to earn their bragging rights and the veterans defending their turf. Watch Ballroom Boxing Fridays at 10 Eastern Time right here on NBC. It's not your typical show. A minute 1 left to play. Timeout taken by Jackson State. Defense of Alcorn coming out. Whistle sounds and we'll be ready to go on the snap. And then let's see if Bates can get it back to Kent this time. And another little bit low, but at least off the ground. Robert Kent looking. Now running. And he'll take it down to the 35-yard line. Clock is going to continue to run with 50 seconds. They'll move the chains. They'll stop it momentarily, then whistle back into play. At that time, the stop was made by Logan again, the outstanding senior linebacker, number 41 for Alcorn. First and 10 for the Tigers. Now 44 seconds and going.
It's going to be very important for them to get some kind of points out of this drive with 40-some seconds remaining in the half. They've squandered it away. For momentum's sake, man wide open, underthrown again there by Kent. He was trying to hit his wideout, number 84, Eric Cabell. But again, it's going to be very important if they're going to try and win this ball game at all. They're trailing right now by 11, 21-10, 31 seconds remaining in the first half.
You saw the all-purpose yards of Kent. He's been, of course, a man on the ground and throwing in the air. Cabell, the intended receiver that time, not able to catch up with it. James Bell, the head coach of Jackson State, realizes this is a huge opportunity for his club with 31 seconds to go before halftime. Another low snap. Well, that's got to take your concentration off. They swing it out on the relief to the far side. Kennebrew cannot hang on. And, you know, a little bit of defense of Kennebrew. I know he was looking ahead to see what was coming, but if you look where the shadows are on the field, he had to look a little bit back into the sun as well to feel that one. A little bit down the line of scrimmage that time. Incomplete.
That's pretty good too, but I think he still should have caught it. That's good. You're right, because the shade is to the side and the sun is coming from our angle in the press box. But again, he should have caught it. Maybe he heard footsteps.
Well, it's a 3rd down, 10 yards to go, 25 seconds left in the half. This time plenty of time, and he drills one ahead, and it's complete to Ross. 1st down for Jackson State. Now Jackson State is using their final timeout of the 1st half, and they still have the drive alive. You know, 40 years ago today, there was a tragic happening in our great country with the assassination of JFK. Well, a man that was a freshman here at JSU, and of course, as our good friend Lem Barney will think back to that tragic day and what it meant to everybody here at Jackson State University. We'll share that with you at halftime. Halftime with the bands, all kinds of things going on for you. Timeout here again by Jackson State to try to right themselves to get 19 seconds to useful football and trailing 21-10. Jackson State only 2-9, trying to get out of a 6-game skid to end the season. The only 2 games they won this year was over Texas Southern 28-21 and Mississippi Valley 21-17. But again, 4 of their losses came by 7 points or less. And you see Alcorn still has 1 timeout if they should need it here before the half, and I would anticipate they will not.
Sam, as you mentioned, for Jackson State University, they've had some struggles this year, some bouts, but again, despite their record, they win some close games this year.
So the timeout spent by Jackson State, their final, will bring Robert Kent. He'll get under center bait to take a little cleaner handoff on the snap this time. Fakes the handoff to Kennebrew. In the pocket, plenty of time. Great coverage by Alcorn. It breaks down, and there's the sack. Boy, the cover that time, as again, there's winding down to 7. Jackson State probably will not get this one off, as they have to scurry to get players back upfield. They've got one totally off sides, and they won't get it off. So that's going to end the 1st half of the game, as again, the Tigers again having to expend their final timeout to take it over. And again, they go for a sack to end the 1st half.
Good pressure again. Original good blocking here at the point of attack, but you can't hold them out all day long. Again, 2 straight trees comes in and make the stop on Kent. Again, time is expired.
Terry Brady out of Joliet, Louisiana with the tackle. Let's take it downstairs to Barry.
Sam, thanks, Coach Thomas. A couple of big defensive stands in addition to a big play on your special teams.
That's what we're going to take to win the football game. You got to win football game with defense and special teams and have a balanced offensive attack. And right now we're playing pretty good for football on all phases of our units.
It seems like those defensive stands have really taken a little bit of the starch out of the early offense that Jackson State brought.
Well, whenever you could take some energy out of the opponent's offense, especially when they're down deep, it gives your whole team a great deal of confidence, and it gives your defense a great deal of confidence, and somewhat demoralize the confidence of the offense.
Coach Thomas, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Sam, back to you.
Dr. Johnny Thomas sharing some time with us. It's been a halftime of big hits, getting a big halftime of entertainment coming up. But again, the hits just keep coming. And you know it's going to get even better in the 2nd half. Alcorn with the lead at the half, 21-10. NBC Sports with the SWAC game of the week. The excitement of college football, HBCU. The Battle of the Bands is brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. Well, our Alcorn State and the band under the direction of Samuel Griffin. We're ready to hear the sights and sounds of Alcorn State and the Braves.
Ladies and gentlemen, the high-stepping Fantastic Four. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for the #1 SWAC band, presenting the earth-shaking, groundbreaking, trailblazing sounds of dynamite. The Alcorn State University Marching Band. We bring you a halftime spectacular filled with excitement and guaranteed to move you. Get on up out of your seat and party with the real Groove Machine. And now, sounds of dynamite. Introduce yourselves. focus your attention on our maneuvers and patterns in motion. The tune is Coming to America by Mario Ward. There we are, Alcorn State University. Alcorn State University is the oldest historically black land-grant institution in the nation. Nestled in the rolling hills of southwest Mississippi, Alcorn has maintained a tradition of scholarship and excellence since 1871. The university is under the leadership of Dr. Clinton Bristow, Jr., the 16th president of Alcorn State University.
We have a medical emergency. We also have a Brave Yukon.
License plate SKINDM, Washington County. You need to move it. You will be told.
It's called A Little Piece of Dynamite. Alcorn State and the Braves under the direction of Samuel Griffin, as our Battle of the Bands will continue from Veteran Memorial Coliseum here in Jackson in just a moment. The crowd here at Veteran Memorial Stadium in Jackson, Mississippi. 40 years ago today, this nation suffered a loss. It was on the mind of everybody around the world, also on the mind of a young freshman defensive back at Jackson State. Ron Lombardi takes a look back 40 years ago today.
You know, 40 years ago this day, November 22nd, it was a tragic day in the history of African Americans. Particularly, the president, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated. It was a hurtful moment in our lives. We really thought at that time, because of the fight and the struggle with the civil rights, that President John F. Kennedy would be the deliverer for not only African Americans, but for people of color. You know, that weekend we played after JFK was assassinated. We played, but our hearts really wasn't in it. The mood on campus was very somber. It was a quietness. It was very still. But you could hear moans and groans as well as cries from groups of people at a time. I can remember young ladies, after I got out of class and found out the tragic news, young ladies was huddled up, crying, sobbing. Even men, if you can believe it or not, athletes too. I even cried. By the way, this jersey, number 26, I wore proudly at Jackson State University 40 years ago, which commemorates the assassination of JFK. As I reflect in total recall, that dark day, 40 years ago today, I walked out of class, an English class, and saw sobbing. The whole campus was in disarray because of the loss of John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Since this country was founded, each generation...
Our Battle of the Bands continues now, brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. And from Jackson State University, under the direction of Louis Liddell, ladies and gentlemen, the Tiger Marching Band.
Mississippi's comprehensive urban university, the J, the S, the U, the Jackson State University. The band will now perform a decision drill to a melody of your favorite music. a billion eyes, unmatched in charm and grace. The prancing J-Set as they dance to Like I Love You by Justin Timberlake.
This halftime show has been brought to you by Chrysler. Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. Welcome back, everybody, once again to the Veteran Memorial Stadium here in Jackson, Mississippi, as Alcorn State trying to get their opportunity to get a shot at the SWAC championship, going in against either Grambling or Southern. Right now leading with a score of 21-10 at halftime. Sam Smith along with Lynn Barney, the National Football League Hall of Famer. And right now Jackson State, even though they've been able to move the football, just haven't been able to capitalize and get in the end zone here, Lynn.
You're right. The stingy defense of Alcorn has kept them out of the end zone. They got in for 10 points, but again, they turned the ball over once they got into the red zone.
So on the other side, it's been a big day for plays. Of course, run backs, good plays on the passing game as well. How much do the two teams change in the second half now, Lim?
Well, Alcorn is not going to change anything. They're going to apply more pressure. Jackson State is going to have to alter their game, particularly when they get out into the red zone.
Halftime stats brought to you by Geico. Take a look at the first downs. Of course, JSU, as we mentioned, with some good yardage, 225, 15 first downs. But again, that big intercept to the goal line really took a little steam out, I thought.
It really did. They were driving again after their first touchdown and had an opportunity to get the ball into the end zone by way of passing. But again, an inerrant throw by quarterback Kent in a double coverage stalled that drive.
Well, we wanted to know what kind of changes they might make. Let's take you downstairs to Barry. He's downstairs with James Bell.
We made some plays. We got to make more plays on offense. Gave up a couple of big plays on defense. Let's not give those up. We bring this thing right back even and we're full ahead.
It seemed to when the units came off the field, there was still a lot of confidence.
Well, we apologize for technical problems on Coach Bell, and as Lim had pointed out a moment ago, they've just got to find a way to make those numbers work into something that's happened. Let's talk defensively on the other side, because it turned out that it started off with some penalties, some big runbacks, and also let's take a look at our halftime and our highlights coming up. And again, it was an interference call on one of the first of the plays of the game.
Big play right here. Jackson State had the interference called against Alcorn. They ended up with a three points on the field goal, but again, Alcorn came back. A tremendous run here as the young man gets it into the end zone. As Kerry does a quarterback sneak, then again, Kennebrew, who gets it into the end zone for Jackson State, and again, with just electricity here on the kickoff return, Alcorn gets the ball back in great field position. Tremendous stop here by the special team of Jackson State. Again, Alcorn doing what it does best, got the ball into the end zone once again. So as a result, Jackson State is trailing at halftime 21-10.
So again, after some great run backs, Teagle along with Parsons both doing their job of running that football around, and now we're ready to kick off. Jackson State will be kicking off to Alcorn to start the third quarter, with the Braves leading it with a score of 21-10. Kickoff will be a short one. Dribbles all the way back, where they'll have a run back set up here on the near side, and they'll bring it out with Lester. Brings it up to the 25-yard line, where the Braves will take over at 1st and 10. You know, Lynn, we were talking about the strategy of what happens now. Now, does Alcorn become a little bit more cautious, or do they try to just keep on doing what they're doing?
They're going to keep doing what they want to do. Again, we talked about Coach Thomas. He needs to do something to stop the bleeding. He's lost 5 in a row to Jackson State, and he certainly wants to stop it at 5.
So 1st and 10, out with their quarterback again, Donald Carey out of New Orleans. Out of the shotgun, he'll be snapped back by Smalley, the center. And they waste no time in getting ahead for another first down as they move it out beyond the 35-yard line. Just a nose ahead of the 35 as they quickly got the football in the hands of running back Sidney Dumas. Dumas, you may recall in the highlights we saw a moment ago, setting up a 1-yard plunge by Carey for one of the scores by Alcorn State in this first half. So 1st and 10 for the Braves again. They delay, pitch back. Here it comes to Carey. He's got some running room on that side if he needs it. He's going to try to take it. It will go out of bounds. A gain of 3. Chased down on the far side that time by Vincent Dancy, the linebacker, who was not going to let him to turn upfield that time. But good coverage by Jackson State.
In the secondary, great coverage. They were in a blitz scenario. They jumped man-to-man, so they had to latch down on the 2 receivers that were eligible again. Great job by the defense on the left side, holding him to only a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7.
Just underway in the second half. Here comes that end around as they try to get it to somebody who can run with the football that they've got in their hands. And here they go. Ahead with the football is Spiller. Spiller, who, as a matter of fact, has only 7 catches, make that 19 catches all year long. But he's averaged nearly 30 yards per catch. But again, you see how well he does on the end around.
Does a great job here. You see it. Comes, he sees a crease, splits it in the middle of the field, and he breaks it back to the left side. Great job by Speller, advancing the ball well inside Jackson's territory, inside the 35, we'll call it the 33-yard line.
SID, Tyrone Broxton has nicknamed him touchdown. Out of those 19 catches, he's had 7 touchdowns. 1st and 10, Carey underthrew that one, under heavy charge that time, and had to try to release it a little quicker than he wanted to. He was actually rolling the right direction, but just couldn't get any steam on it.
Certainly couldn't. He was throwing off the wrong foot. Again, hotly being pursued by Fred Thompson, the linebacker, 6'2", 220 pounds, sophomore out of Jackson, Mississippi.
Wingfield High School right here in the greater Jackson area. So it's a 2nd down and 10 for Alcorn. Jackson State's defense being tested early here in the start of the 3rd quarter, down by 11. They recall a missed field goal, and then they went for 2 twice. Did Alcorn, missed all 3 of them. Hand off to Burks. Andrew cuts to the outside. It's a foot race to the corner, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds, and got the chase on the far side that time by Dancy again. The weak side linebacker finally ran him out of bounds. 1st and 10 to go once again here for Alcorn.
Great job by Andrew Burks. Tremendous burst when he cuts the corner. Virtually untouched until he gets about the 18-yard line and is driven out of bounds right around the 16-yard line, where Alcorn will have a 1st down and 10.
Burks, interesting enough, comes in with 596 yards rushing. That's what he had all last year. He was a 2,000-yard rusher when he played in high school. Again, Hazelhurst, Mississippi. Hand off to Burks again. He's short of that running. He to the corner. Dives. Nobody signaled yet. may have stopped him just short of a touchdown by Andrew Burks, which would have been his 6th of the year. Make his 7th, as he had his 6th one earlier today.
5'11" senior, 195 pounds, move with quickness and speed and finesse. Here he is. He sees the goal line, cuts back just at the goal line, denied the touchdown. 1st and goal at the 2.
Carey will try to sneak this one home.
Counted.
He's got it. Have they signaled yet? The officials have not. Every Alcorn player has. They'll unstack again as Carey goes trying for his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
Still no signal from the officials.
Still no signal. Real battle going on at the bottom of that pile. And again, everybody being unstacked so they can take a look at it, and
they didn't give it to him.
They didn't give it to him again. So Carey, you can see the football is literally right on the goal line, just a couple of inches at most from being a score here. And they'll bring it on with a 2nd and goal.
Alcorn brings its power unit in. Big fullback, big tailback.
And they run out of the wishbone. And Carey won't make it again unless the 2nd effort got it.
Second effort.
And he did. 2nd effort by Carey got him the TD.
Broke the plane. Had good wheels. He jumped and was jumped by the jumper again. As he goes down, he leaps back up again. The ball broke the plane for the score.
So Donald Carey getting his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And of course, a young man that has 63 throwing touchdowns coming to the game today. Got another one this afternoon. Makes it a 27-10 game. David O'Connell will add the extra point if he can. It's up, and it is good this time. He missed his first one. They went for 2 on the others, but he drills it here and makes it an opportunity for Alcorn State to take even a more commanding lead, as they've got it here in the 3rd quarter with 12:30 left to go.
Mark Ray with you back at the MBC Sports Desk. Tough week for former Prairie View A&M coach C.L. Whittington. The former Lion player himself finds himself looking for work after he was dismissed following a 1-10 season. Yo, Prairie View, I remember a couple of years ago you were in the throes of losing for 4 years in a row without a victory. The guy wins a game. What's going on? Let's head back to Jackson and find out.
So the ever-changing coaching scene continues around the country, as some changes will be coming after this final game of the season for, I assume, a lot of schools around the country, as O'Connell gets ready to kick off for Alcorn. This time he will send one deep, and out of the end zone it goes again. He's had a good opportunity to do that, as Tim Manning had no chance to get that one. Good look at Mr. Carey. He's had himself quite a day here for Alcorn. Again, a young man that came in with 2,592 yards, 63 career touchdowns. Several publications also name him as a scholar athlete All-American. Congratulations to him. You saw that Kent was our scholar athlete of this game, and he comes back on for Jackson State.
He needs to get things moving in a hurry. 12 minutes, 30 seconds to go in this the 3rd quarter. They're trailing 28-10.
Wide receivers, 2 at the bottom side of your screen. Kent checking off the line of scrimmage. Tight end on the right side. Fake handoff. Now they do give it to Kennebrew, and Kennebrew was a nice carry out of the fake that time by Kent. I thought he still had it there, as again it gives it to Kennebrew, and he gets nothing going. 11 of 23, buck 21, with that big intercept at the goal line again by Alcorn. Again, as I mentioned, with Lim at halftime, really kind of took a little wind out of the sail of Jackson State.
It certainly did. They had a great opportunity to take the momentum on their side after scoring and going ahead in the ball game, and drove it down within the red zone, and again turned it over by way of an interception.
Back it goes with Kent on the 2nd down. He swings it near side to Kennebrew. That's his relief foul, and he'll muscle his way out to the 27 after making the catch. Brings up a 3rd down play. They need to get out to around the 30.5-yard line for the first out.
Great job defensively by the Braves on the left side. Even after the scramble, they latched down with the man in your own area. They're the baby Tigers. Young man was talking about eating, but can't have that. Third and about 3.
And out of the shotgun, let's see if they cleared up that snap from Bates to Kent. Nope, still low. Fake it, come to the near side. He gets it ahead, trying to get it ahead to Tim Manning, and Manning has it not catchable as he threw it right in front of him, incomplete. 4th down and kick time here for JSU.
He looked like he may have been a bit indecisive then, Sam, because he certainly had a man open had he thrown it at the proper time. But 2 men were in the area, and as a result, he threw it on the ground. 4th down punting situation.
He had a turnout and a slant. He didn't know which way to go and threw it short as the kick time coming up. Dominic Addison again comes into the game averaging nearly 36 yards per kick. High snap, but he'll get it away. Let's see what kind of hop it takes. It's in favor of JSU, down finally at the 41. So that's where Alcorn State will take over for the action. Well, we'd like to remind you that every week we try to take a look at some trivia. And right now we'd like to give our trivia from Geico, the sensible alternative. And the trivia contest for this week: who holds the all-time record for tackles in the season at Alcorn State? I'd like to remind you to go on the website at www.mbcnetwork.com and become eligible for a special sports prize package if you can come up with the right answer. Again, who holds the records most tackles single season at Alcorn State? Well, they don't have to worry about defense right now, do the Braves. Now their offense is back in control again. And again, Burks. Oh, man, this kid is so strong in the lower body. He just pulls away from tacklers and gained 7 yards in what should have been about a 2-yard gain.
He has a lot of I want to, and it's not going to be denied. As you can see, 2 or 3 tackles had him, well, would-be tacklers, because as a result, as you mentioned, he picked up about 7 yards. It looked like they're giving him 6 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 4.
And now you can see Alcorn trying to use that running game that has been good for them, but now they come trips to the left. Carey swings it out. That's actually a lateral. It's behind, but it's going to go for big yardage here for Alcorn as they swing it out near side, and off to the races is Corbin Johnson again. You know, Johnson not even listed as one of their prime receivers, but has really stepped up big today. Actually, a receiver that was not listed as far as coming out of the backfield. That time he swings from the wide receiver and makes another big catch for them.
Big play, big run, good catching combination. Here it is. Jackson was on a blitz, and you saw number 6, linebacker Vince Dancy. But again, watch Johnson just dance down the sideline. Finally brought down after about a 20-some yard gain. The ball is inside of the 25, well, let's say 25-yard line of Jackson State. They're threatening to score again.
Free safety Turner finally making the stop, knocking him out of bounds. Carey heads it off on the inside, little belly series, and ahead they get it to Lester, who carries it inside the 20 to the 19. They'll gain about 5 on the play, brings up 2nd down and 5 for Alcorn. You got to be impressed with them today, Liv, and the fact that they have come in and what could have been a very hostile situation, even though both these teams are right here from the area. But
45 miles apart.
Yep, and you know, they come in with so much pressure on them. Jackson State was kind of laid back. Yeah, let's try to keep the schedule going, but Alcorn had a lot of pressure coming in.
I don't really know if Jackson State was laid back, but again, the way their season has been going, I felt that Alcorn had the upper hand in coming in. They have more to win by proving their victory over this team this evening.
Burks almost nailed in the backfield and finally is swarmed. Bobby Mays will finally lead the charge, but they get a penetration again by McGowan, that middle linebacker, that actually almost knocked him off balance, and then Burks falls in the arms of Bobby Mays. Mays came in with 4.5 tackles for losses. He has a total of a couple of sacks this year. Last year had 5, the year before 6, and his freshman year had 3. So he's a guy that gets around the football in the other team's backfield.
Indeed, he plays defense the way it's supposed to be played, on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Good quickness at 6'3", 245 from the defensive end spot, which is on the right side on the 3rd down play. Carey throws a slant intended for Johnson. They have been just partially tapped on its way by that time on the defensive coverage by Cletus Gordon. 4th down now for Alcorn, and they're bringing in the kicker is McConnell. Will once again have an opportunity to try the field goal, and this will come from about 40 yards.
Cletus Gordon, number 4, was covering defensive back then on the receiver. He's from Admit, Louisiana. At 190 pounds, he's a sophomore.
Ball is free. Back it goes to the goal line. Jackson State will try to bring it out. This is Nancy, the linebacker. Needs a block, using it well up the sideline, and will take it out to near midfield. And a flag is down as Alcorn hits him out of bounds.
An additional 15 yards for unnecessary roughness or personal foul. Good job.
Well, let's take it downstairs after that block. Let's take it to Barry.
Sam, on the sidelines here, the medical team responding to Marcus Turner, the tight end for Alcorn State. It's been an awfully humid kind of day, warmer than normal, warmer than seasonal averages down here. He was very dehydrated. They have him in the ambulance right now, just giving him some fluids, nothing serious, and they're hoping that he'll be able to return.
Thank you, Barry. And, of course, always concerned for your student athletes. As now the step off will go up against Alcorn State after that late hit and a fine run back that time again. And that's one of the things we talked about at the start of the show. You've got receivers that can make things happen after the catch, and you've got defensive backs that have covered very well for Jackson State. It's just been a matter of, unfortunately, the breaks not going your way at times.
You're absolutely right, but you have to will some of those breaks your way.
That's true. Good point. The pitch, they give it off. They come to the reverse, coming around the near side, getting it out to Chris Johns. And a flag behind the play as they get it on a clip, potentially here against Jackson State. Gain on the play of 2.
This may be the second 15-yard against Albert Stinson. If we have a chance to see it again, it really didn't look like he got his head in behind him, but it was a clip, obviously, because let's give a chance to see it again. Here it is again. Ball handed off. There it is. A little from behind, yes. A lot from behind.
Wasn't one of those that you'd have to send to a referee coaching clinic on that one, right?
No, and you shouldn't say poop, poop, excuse me.
That's right. Again, you see the sideline. That's Coach Bell. James, of course, coming here from Indiana, where he was the defensive coordinator for a couple of years for the Hoosiers. Also spent time at Wake Forest, University of North Texas, Louisville, Northwest Missouri, Lamar, and Central Arkansas, his alma mater. Right now his defense trying to hold on with his 28-10 lead. It's Kennebrew. Bumps to the outside as they need it, of course, after that 10-yard step off. A 1st and 20. You'll get about 5 of that back. Second down, 15 yards to go.
Good stop by the linebacker, Hughes. Sophomore, 248 pounds from Fayette, Mississippi.
You know, Kennebrew's a guy that's getting more and more increased time as it goes along. He was an excellent rusher in high school, over 1,300 yards in his senior year. Then comes in with 321 today and has added 42 to that on his total. Here's the throw by Kent going to the far side. There's a run for it. And coming up defensively, number 7, that's Tim Batts. That's the free safety trying to get back there against Jones, and that's a pretty good individual battle back there.
Certainly was. Good play. Ball had a little too much air on it. Great coverage. You see the intended receiver. There he is. Bumps him. Ball is intended for Chris Jones. Good play by Batts to knock it down. Third down at about 15.
How much has the coverage changed from the time you were here at Jackson State? What you're looking at the college players now, has it changed a lot as far as the cover is concerned?
Not a whole lot, and defense will never change, particularly for the backs.
Yeah.
You got to be able to play cover 2, cover 1, and man-to-man, and it requires having great feet and good confidence in being a defensive back.
Well, that defensive Alcorn to be called on here. As that time they'll just chunk it out of bounds, and good idea that time. Again by Kent as he throws it away for a 4th down play.
Again, due to coverage, great coverage in the secondary by Alcorn State Braves, and ominous pressure again applied. It's 4th down. I don't see why Kent is still in the game. He's coming out now. Punting unit now is coming onto the field.
If you were looking at the same situation at 7:26 in the 4th, you probably would go for it in this situation, but there's a lot of time left. And Coach Bell now sending his kicking unit out there as Dominic Addison will kick for the 4th time tonight.
7 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in this, the 3rd quarter. Good
Addison
punt.
kicking sideline. Oh, it takes a good bounce for JSU. All the way down into about the 2.5-yard line where the special teams covers in Alcorn State. Even though they lead it by 18 at 28-10, they'll start their offense deep in their own territory. We'll return to the Capital City Classic in a moment.
What in this world keeps us from falling apart.
It's a perfect environment. It's about luxury, space, and elegance. It's about a place so comfortable and complete. You'll never want to leave. Chrysler Pacifica.
This for all my players out there riding.
We go steal down the middle. 1-on-1. Bam! Did you see what I see? Because I saw a robbery. Does anybody want a coat? Yeah. Hey, you crazy, man? That's Corinthian leather. And use the footstool to get to the refrigerator. I'm running all over y'all like a treadmill. I am the greatest. I'm the greatest. Can't stop it. It's bad house. I'm telling you. I'm just super nice in it, you know? That's all. When you nice right
This 58th meeting between these two has Alcorn State in the lead 28-10 here in the third quarter. Let's take you back a few moments ago. And, of course, Geico, the sensible alternative, bringing you our MBC Trivia of the Week. And there's the question. Who holds the all-time record for most tackles in a single season at Alcorn State? Lim, any ideas?
I haven't the faintest.
Well, let's find out. And our answer is, there it is, Dr. Johnny Talbot. Yeah, that's the guy on the sideline. 150 tackles. And there is old Ripsaw, as he was called when he played at Alcorn State. I tell you what, he looked like he could rip you pretty good.
Certainly could.
There's a look at him now. In his 6th year as the head coach for Alcorn. Geico, the sensible alternative in our trivia question of the day. Alcorn State has dominated this football game in many ways, and now it's up to JSU to try to turn the defense the other way as Burks sprints to the outside. That time Jackson State stretched it out as Marcus Kraft, the cornerback, wouldn't quite let him get turned in, but Andrews, tell you what, he didn't show up early in the game, but I tell you what, he's really come on strong as of late.
We know he's a participant right now.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, great job. It was a good force and a good field, but again, because of the quickness and the speed of Andrew, he outrushed everybody, outlegged everybody, picks up 7 yards on the play.
There you see, of course, the rushing yardage. They were somewhat horrendous as far as some of the numbers are concerned, but their rushing game has really come on. By the way, they've had Sidney Dumas along with Burks have been their 2 running backs. And you can't really fault Dumas. He's just being overshadowed by Burks right now. He carries it out to the 15-yard line. And if that stands up, it'd be enough for a first down for Alcorn. And they did exactly what they wanted to do, and that was to get it off the goal line and now give yourself some room to work. And Jackson State also makes some changes, getting some more down linemen, taking a couple of their defensive backs out of there.
Fred Thompson comes up as one of the duos on that tackle then after the yardage had been gained by Alcorn. They've got command of the game. Jackson State is trailing 28-10, 6 minutes, 17 seconds and counting in the third quarter.
Darren McCray has replaced Thompson, one of the linebackers for JSU. They throw it. It's intercepted by JSU.
Could be a big play.
This is a touchdown for the Tigers. Oh, you look for the breaks you need, and Marcus Kraft. Oh, let's correct it here.
Jason Lewis.
It was Jason Lewis. Lewis jumping up like a basketball player and jumping that one right into the end zone.
Big play here defensively. Again, you see Kerry back. He goes right. Good drop. Good move. A good run here as well. Picks up some valuable blocking here as he's into the end zone for the score.
So the extra point by Salazar. Guess what? We're back in the game again as Salazar with the extra points up, and it is good. So add 7 to the total now. Make it a 28-17 game. It's Alcorn comfortably going by several points a moment ago. Have it down to 11, and Lewis celebrates for JSU. Jason Lewis with his first career interception rambles it in from 20 yards away, and JSU is down by 11. Well, you know, here on the campus of Jackson State University, they still remember Sweetness. That, of course, is a guy that has played so well in the past, not only here at JSU, but, of course, his untimely death with the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about, of course, the Sweetness, Walter Payton, coming in a moment after this kickoff. As, again, everybody remembers Sweetness. And I tell you what, guy next to me signed a heck of a lot of autographs this past week here with JSU fans.
I'll tell you, it's always great coming back home. Very commemorative, as we saw at halftime. My 40th anniversary here since a rookie in 1963 as a freshman on Jackson State University's campus.
Asher will be kicking off. Short kick is fielded around the 25-yard line. And again, Alcorn State will have excellent position. Well, on campus, they've started to salute the great Walter Payton. And, of course, they built a memorial here on campus. And what a nice thing. And also, they've got a new building that's going up in and around that area and constructed for the students on campus here at JSU.
Absolutely. It's going to be a sight to behold.
And, of course, in his honor, the HBCU, historically black colleges and universities, had these candidates for the Walter Payton Award. You see the youngsters and their numbers in their respective universities, and good players, great student athletes all. We wish them all the very best in securing one as the Walter Payton Award winner. Stretch handoff to Burks. Burke feeling his way through that defense. And the defense starting to bend a little more for JSU as Burks tears it all the way out to the 43-yard line.
Burks should be nearing the 100-yard mark for today on rushes.
That'll give him another 15. It gets him up to 72 now.
That's close to 100.
That's closer than you and I have been in a while. I'll tell you that for sure. First down and 10 to go for Alcorn. 5:46 left to go. In a third quarter that saw JSU again throw it back at Alcorn, and now the Braves have said, okay, after a short kickoff, have it back in their wheelhouse offensively. Two tight end set. They give it to Lester. Lester swings to the outside and then just drags people along with him before the Tigers can finally bring him down. Sprinting outside, trying to contain that again, was the middle linebacker, James McCowan. But it's a gain of 3 on the play. Second down and 7 here for Alcorn State. Alcorn State comes into this game. They have won or shared 9 SWAC championships. Their last during the McNair era, 91 through 94. They won it in 94. They shared it with Grambling. They had it outright in 92. Pitch outside. They get it to Dumas. Dumas, along with Burke, sharing that running. He'll gain about 2 more. Let's take it back to access to Barry. Barry?
Sam, you know, going back to the turnover, the Jason Lewis interception for a touchdown, that is a huge play in so many ways. Number one, obviously, it gets Jackson State back in this game, but it's a huge lift for the team. Coming into the game, the Tigers were -9 for the season in turnover margin. That is 9th in the SWAC, and turnovers have just been a huge deficit for this team during the losing streak. But we'll see now if the defensive unit can stand up and make that interception really mean something and get the ball back to the offense.
Third down and 4. Thank you, Barry, for Alcorn. There's the fake handoff to Lister. It's Carey throwing. He's got a man open. They've got it. And away it goes down to the 5-yard line. Still battling for the goal line, and it goes to about the 1-yard line.
Nate Hughes.
Nate Hughes makes the catch back deep in the secondary. That time carrying a Tanner with him all the way down to the 1. So Nate Hughes makes a huge catch here. Freshman coming out of Macon, Mississippi.
Play action pass here. Virtually no pressure. Sees an open Hughes. Now watch the determination after he receives opposition. He's like a Bronco rider. He's still pulling. Legs turning. Well, he gets some help now, some push from his friend, but right at the goal line goes Nate Hughes for a tremendous catch and throw combination.
There you see the numbers again here, the total yardage. Big advantage for Alcorn as again they push this one to a touchdown as they carry it in. And so another score as they just push the ball to the goal line, and Carey gets his 3rd of the afternoon on the run. And ups the score now to 34-17, Alcorn State. Plenty of time with still the entire 4th quarter and 3:36 to go, but Jackson State has to finally somewhere along the way throw up the defense and stop this juggernaut that started now for Alcorn as O'Connell puts it up and good. 35-17 in favor of the Braves. Braves again. They'd probably like to look back to one particular game, a loss earlier to Alabama State. We'll talk about that and more as we'll roll on from Jackson with the Braves on top of the Tigers. Braves using the Pony Express running of Dumas and Burks, taking it down to the goal line where Carey pushes it in for his third touchdown, and it's a 35-17 lead. Alcorn as O'Connell kicks off. It'll be bounding right out in front of Cletus Gordon. Apparently did not touch it. He takes it back in the goal line and will take it in the end zone and bring it out to the 20-yard line. Again is Carey adding to his numbers on the touchdown carries. Again getting his third, the player of the week in the SWAC a week ago, and I wouldn't be surprised he doesn't get some good consideration for tonight, as he too is kind of jiving to the music.
Certainly is. He's got 3 one-yard keepers from the goal line.
Somebody's done the work.
But again, that's 18 points.
That's right. 3 minutes and 36 to go in the third. Sam Smith along with the National Football League Hall of Famer Lynn Barney and Barry Milligan down on the field with us. Glad you could join us as NBC Sports presents the SWAC game of the week.
Sam, we'll see just how much heart does Jackson State have now, even though it's almost a blowout. Let's see what kind of tenacity they have to stay within this game. Again, tremendous pressure by the left side defensively for the Alcorn Braves. A sack of about 5 yards.
Well, they're getting great rush that time. You saw Williams. The other man on the other side was going to be Roach. And they also got the linebacker Wilson, so all three collaborating, and that time Robert Kent had no place to go anywhere, and he lost 4 on the play. Second down, 14 for the Tigers.
Juan Wilson, linebacker junior, 6'3", 230, out of Tylertown, Mississippi.
Came into the game with 11 tackles for losses, so he's familiar with that backfield of the other team. Kent, time to throw. It's going to break down. He has to use the athletic ability. Throws incomplete, drop by Ross.
Yeah,
and a flag finally comes down.
That should have been a flag. It was clear that the ball was not received when the defensive back hit him.
So that'll bring up the interference call against Alcorn. Automatic first down for the Tigers. And in the delicate balance of college football, it always turns out to be one little thing or another that can turn it back your direction. And right now, JSU needs something big, little, or small to try to take care of what's happening.
They need some type of spark.
I understand Mr. Webb has the microphone on here for the second half.
Well, a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Automatic first down.
Sound like this guy's ready for the NFL, doesn't it? Here it is. Ball clearly not caught. Here's the defensive back real late. A yard or 2 out of bounds. Good call by the official. Keeps the drive alive. First down and 10. Ball's at the 31-yard line of Jackson State.
Jackson State coming out with, again, Kennebrew has been their main running back, the freshman out of Little Rock. He stays in the backfield with Kent. 2 wide receivers to the right. And Kent's looking back that way, throwing over the middle into a crowd.
Intercepted.
And it is intercepted again. And that time the dropping linebacker, Wilson, number 55 out of Tylertown, comes up with her, and also dropping back as well. David Smith was there, but it's going to be Wilson for the intercept for Alcorn.
Did you see his helmet off?
Yeah.
That would have cost him big in the league if he was playing now.
I think it may have come off when he fell. Let's watch.
Here it is again, throwing it into a patch of Braves. Great drop by a linebacker. Great drop. Yes, it did.
It did come off when he hit the ground.
Indeed it did.
So again, as Robert Kent talks to James Bell, the head coach for Jackson State, again throwing into very strong coverage that time by Alcorn, and again his second interception and only his 13th of the year for Robert Kent.
They're going for the juggler. They're putting it up top.
Pressure's on by JSU, and look at the way that he can get out of all kinds of traffic by Carrier. Boy, he was slipping and sliding through tacklers like you can't believe for a huge game by the Braves.
You talk about a Houdini. He certainly did. He was very well in the grasp of a tackler, but again, the desire, the drive, the stick-to-itiveness. Here it is. Should have been a sack. Here he goes. Closed eyes on the tackle. Bad techniques. Again, good moves. Slithering upfield. Great job by the quarterback. First down and 10.
Well, 4 air tackles that time by JSU as they Alcorn sprints to the outside with Dumas. Sidney going to the sideline, rolled out of bounds. Gain in the play of 3, second down, 7 for Alcorn. As again, they try to make something happen here that would really put JSU even further behind the 8 ball, leading 35-17. 2 minutes to go in the third. Alcorn looks back to the second week of the season, though. They lost 49-28 to Alabama State. Of course, a huge win last week over Alabama A&M has put them in this position. And, of course, Alabama A&M was ready to celebrate the Eastern Championship before, again, that 20-15 win by the Braves. So you lose one, but you win a big one and get themselves at least into position with Alabama State later tonight against Texas Southern. Carey will not get it. Should be a fumble.
Pass. Nope. Call it a pass.
They are saying that his arm was going forward. That was extremely close. As you see some excellent good penetration that time by the entire front side of Jackson State.
Let you call it yourself. Here he is, scrambling back. I don't know. That may have been a fumble. That's a fumble.
That's awfully close for sure.
That's a real fumble. But again, it's negated by whatever we think or feel. Here it is again. Back pedals. It's a fumble. Ball never went forward. Empty hand went forward. Again, it's Alcorn's break. The momentum is definitely on their side. Sam?
That time Byron Speaks was the man putting the pressure on. Third down, though. Here's the pass over the middle. They've got a man complete.
Touchdown.
And touchdown as Johnson turned away from the coverage that time and spun into the end zone. As Marcus Kraft had him, but he got away, and the touchdown is good. And that very easily could be even a creaking of a door sounding as Alcorn State really puts JSU behind a big 8 ball now, 41-17. And Carey's not only scored 3 touchdowns, but now throws for his second today. So he has contributed 5 T's already here for this team. Boy, he put some nice air into that, didn't he?
He certainly did. It was a nice soft touch. He's got that kind of ability. Point after touchdown is good. It goes up to 42-17. The Braves on top in this annual.
And the 7th touchdown of the season here by Johnson. 42-17 Alcorn State. Junior quarterback Donald Carey has had himself quite a day. Johnson getting a little banged up after catching the touchdown, the second of the day from Carey. Carey, of course, the freshman newcomer of the year for the SWAC. And, of course, his junior year, he's going out with a blaze here in his final couple of games here in his junior year. Is again, they send it deep, and O'Connell's kick will not be returned out of the end zone by Jones. 1st and 10 for JSU. Jackson State with 1:47 left to go before the end of the third. And I guess if you had to put a little importance of a drive, it'd have to be right here, wouldn't it, Lim?
Certainly would be. Again, can I dance like that?
What do you think?
No, only if I had a ball in my hand I could. No, I used to dance like that when I was on the line as a capper. I had to dance. Are you crazy? Of course I can dance. Give me a cane. I'll show you how well I can dance.
There's the 2 guys that collaborated for the last score. By the way, Mr. JSU, it took you a long time to get in the barbecue place last night, didn't it, pal?
Certainly did, about almost a whole hour.
Oh,
look at this pressure.
Look at Alcorn. They are coming with everybody on the line, and a flag is down. Somebody may have grabbed a face mask on its way by. As again, Alcorn in their defense, and again, Wilson has really been rising to the occasion. That's the right linebacker.
Let's get a chance to listen to the ref.
Personal foul, face mask. It's 15 yards on the previous spot. First down.
Face mask against the Braves of Alcorn. Yes, Barry and I went out for barbecue last night. The name of the place is E&L Barbecue.
Right.
It's on Bailey Avenue in Jackson. If you ever hear, who's ever's listening, go there. It's worth the hour wait that I have.
Barry, what do you think of the barbecue?
It was awesome. And Sam, I've got to tell you, right now, the barbecue's a heck of a lot better than the offensive protection. This offensive line has given up 26 sacks now. It would have been 27 if not for the last penalty. That's the 3rd most in the SWAC. And if there's any prayer for JSU to get back in this, Robert Kent has to have better protection.
Oh, you smooth dude. Got right into that stat, huh? 42-17 as, again, Kent having to throw that one away.
You know, Barry's just like Charday. He's a smooth operator.
Oh, he's coming on now, isn't he? Well, he started the game surrounded by lovely ladies.
That's what I mean. Absolutely.
Crew.
He's still down there with them.
I knew it was going to be a big day for him. Second down and 10 here for Jackson State. A minute 22 before the end of the quarter. Out of the shotgun.
By the way, that last pass was very errant. Looked like a mix-up on selections.
Somebody broke off the play, and here again is the defense by Alcorn. Is Kent again cannot get himself loose, and Jeffrey Hobbs, who already has one of the interceptions tonight, along with Jermaine Johnson, making the stop for Alcorn. Johnson, number 44.
Yeah, and that could hurt because it was a blind shot. He's not seeing well either, is Robert Kent. He's just reacting and moving with no vision whatsoever.
Johnson's a junior, 215 out of Birmingham Huffman High School for Alcorn. Three-man rush now by the Braves as they've dropped everybody into coverage with this third down play. And Kent strong arms it near side, and it is going to be complete but dropped. And let's see if they call it a completion.
They give him the completion.
Completion coming out to Michael Johnson, a wide receiver out of Brooksville, Mississippi. Makes the reception, dropped it, but fell right in on top of his own fumble.
Alert enough as he was. Good throw and catch combination from Kent to Michael Johnson. Moxie B County, Starkville area. 1st and 10 for the Tigers of Jackson State.
Ball squarely at midfield. 24 seconds, all we have left here to end the quarter. Again, Kent still has to run out of that pocket again. Hot pursuit by Brady. He'll run enough for the first down and taken down after a 12-yard gain. I ran into Tyree Brady, number 71's mom out of Joliet, Louisiana. As you see him talking to the quarterbacks, he said, "I'm so proud that he's playing so well at Alcorn." And I said, well, I hope you have that same feeling after the game. And I got a feeling that Mrs. Brady, once she sees a tape of this game, is going to say, yeah, that's my boy.
Look at the disparity here.
Oh, my.
Second half, 262 to 34 yards. Barry could do better than that, and he's down there on the sideline.
So that's the end of the third quarter. Again, the score, 42-17. Alcorn with the lead after they played 3 here in the Capital City Classic in Jackson.
Doug Stewart here at the Geico MBC Sports Desk. A big 1A battle for you. Michigan at Ohio State. Chris Perry scores. Takes it right here in the end zone for a 15-yard TD run. 35-21 Michigan. Michigan, all they have to do, Ohio State, all they have to do right now is play, USC has to play UCLA, and they'll have a date in the Sugar Bowl.
Well, at least the Little Tigers have something to run and enjoy because they are not totally cognizant of what's going on the scoreboard at 42-17. But these guys are very, very much concerned of what's going on as, again, the offensive unit much besieged here by the defense of Alcorn. And Robert Kent steps back onto the field here for the Tigers.
They certainly aren't with a 25-point differential. They're having a good time down here in the end zone.
Well, I noticed that Chris Bates, the center, has not improved that snap back to Kent. Uh-oh. Lineman jumping on the left side that time is Alsby jumping. Calvin out of Ellisville, Mississippi, missed the start count. Makes a little premature move. And it'll be a 5-yard step off if they needed such a thing here for JSU, 1st and 15.
Yeah, they want him. They're going to take him because he jumped. He's out of South Jones High School. They're in Ellisville, Mississippi. 300-pounder.
Dead ball. Offside on the defense.
Wow.
Huh?
So apparently a encroachment by Alcorn. Again, a 5-yard step off. And again with bandages all over his arms and body that time by Kent. He'll go back to work with a 1st and 5. I'm not so sure they didn't call that the wrong way.
The dead ball is a false start on the offense.
Yeah, I didn't see that encroachment at all.
Yeah, that's why when he called it that way, I'm going, boy, that didn't make any sense to me. Now they get it back to where it should be, I think. Unfortunately for Jackson State, fortunate for Alcorn. As again, the jump on the left side here.
It is from a high end zone view.
Oh, yeah.
There he is. Nobody's moving but him.
So again, on a step off here against Alcorn, it'll be placed at the 30-yard line now with Kent out of the shotgun in the final 15 minutes here of the Capital City Classic. Lights are on here at Veteran Memorial Stadium underneath. And that's one of the patterns they'd hope to hit more and more, as they've got enough for another first down here by Jackson State. Rogers coming up with the catch and a short run to help them get the first down. Courtney Rogers, tight end, junior out of Memphis, Fairleigh High School, and they waste no time getting right back to the line of scrimmage.
No huddle. Check with me at the line of scrimmage. Goes Robert Kent, the quarterback.
Defensive back, Lim, no huddles, problems for defensive backs?
Not at all. We got a defense to run, and so you run it with the efficiency in which it was called and the way in which you played.
Chris Jones again in an open field after he caught the pass, as Kent was literally in the grasp that time of a couple of the players for Alcorn. And of course, one of them was Alexandria, a defensive back, but he got the pass out to Jones.
Yes, Jones makes the reception, falls down, alert enough, gets up, makes a move, gets a helmet stuck on his ball by number 51, Leo Nobles. But again, coming up with the recovery is Arian Cabell.
So a big break there for Jackson State. Low snap again. Kent, near side, touchdown, end zone. Did he get it? No. Couldn't clean it up. Pass was intended again as they tried to get that little pass over the middle to Jones, and Jones could not come up with it that time. A little bit too low.
A little bit too low. He tried to rifle it in there. He was rolling out to his left, which is an easier pass to throw than if he was rolling out to his right. But again, put a little too much velocity on it, get a chance. Another bad snap by the center. Here it is. Stops, pulls up, throws it down and low. As a result, Jones could not come up with it. Had it been thrown shoulder high or waist high, he may have had the occasion to catch it. Timeout.
Well, again, a timeout has been taken by Jackson State. Well, early in the game, Ara Pastol brought you some of the keys to victory. And, of course, let's take a look at some of those now for Jackson State and see how they stack up here, Lynn.
Well, Kent back to his 2002 form. He's way underneath that with 2 interceptions. Defense prevent big plays. Not hardly. 494 yards, and we still got almost a whole quarter to go. Win battle on field position. Again, Alcorn Jackson has been starting on their own 32-yard line, and they haven't stuck to their. I'd give them a C+ on this.
That actually,
as far as the keys to victory.
That actually improved a little. They had been starting around their own 20-yard line in the first half, so they did move it out to the 32. But again, they've only been able to capitalize it for 17 points, and there's been the kind of the rub of what's going on today.
Indeed.
Second down. Goal to go here for Jackson State. Knocking on the door with under 14 minutes to go, and plenty of time if they can make something happen in a hurry here.
Play action.
Near side, and he overthrows a couple of receivers. That time Morris was coming out of the backfield, and a man who'd made a nice catch for him just a moment ago, number 83, Courtney Rogers, both the intended receivers, and neither could catch up with it. Kent again a little bit upset with himself on a third down and short yardage situation, and another Alcorn player is down, this one in the end zone, and writhing in pain with what looks like to be an injury of his knee, and looks like Wilson, the linebacker, who may have twisted his knee in that coverage a moment ago for the Braves. As they take a look at him with his score, we remind you, December the 13th, it's East meeting the West in the 2003 Jeep SWAC Conference Championship. Make plans to join us in Birmingham, Alabama for the best of the best in the SWAC as they battle for the conference title. Why not go to the website at www.mbcnetwork.com and click on SWAC Conference logo for more information on the championship game, Birmingham, December 13th. And again, up and off under his own steam. And again, we going to correct ourselves again. We had thought that was Wilson, but finally getting up and coming off is going to be Hughes. As Coach Bell here from the sideline signals in what's going to be a third down play at the 4-yard line for JSU. One of the things that Jackson State has certainly done, a beautiful 7,000 square foot new weight room that has been built here on campus. We are off campus here at this stadium. But again, the folks really doing a great job of giving these youngsters every opportunity to improve their body strength. And the kids have really appreciated what they've done here for the Tigers at JSU. All right, third down. And go at the 4. Straight drop. Kemp angles over the middle. It's going to be complete.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. And the moments that that time Tim Manning was falling, one official on the far side was kind of looking to the other side, and finally the 2 hands went up for the touchdown. So a little 4-yard pass that time as Tim Manning comes up with a catch, his 8th touchdown of the year, and Jackson State with a 42-22 20-point deficit will look like they may go for 2 here for sure. So Robert Kemp throwing another TD for the game. And they're lining up going for 2. Out of the shotgun, it'll be Kemp. Looking, still looking. This is on the extra point now. He's going to try to run it to the corner. Finally dumps it in the end zone. It's going to be complete to Ross. And the 2 points will count. 42 to 25. That's our score now with 13:49 left to go. As Jackson State is able to score, go for 2, and they make it happen. There's plenty of time with the third quarter, still 13:49 to go. Don't go far on the Capital City Classic.
Power.
$13:49 left to go in the game. 42-25 our score, with again Alcorn State receiving the football as it will be kicked off here. Now you go through the walkthroughs, you see them always working on onside kicks. I would not advise it here, but you're down 42-25. You never know. Alcorn State's got to be cognizant of that, I think.
I'd say go for it. They're trailing now by 17. They broke the deficit of 25 on the last touchdown in the 2-point conversion. Why not? Go for it.
Archer will, though, kick it away. And it'll bound in and out of the end zone on the far side as their fine return man Teagle. They're trying to kick that ball away from him. You may recall an early return of nearly 50 yards. Didn't want to give him another try, as it's going to be a 1st and 10 at the 20 for Alcorn. Let's take a look at that last touchdown again.
Here's a touchdown. Great job here. A great throw. Look at the coverage. The coverage, he was on him like a cheap suit. And again, great job here by Kent. Fools everybody, lobs it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion to leave the 25-point deficit. Now they trail by 17. Alcorn's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 20.
Ross on the catch of that extra point for 2. And now let's see if JSU's defense can dig in. Does Alcorn continue offensively to make things happen? And they do that. As this is Dumas. Sidney Dumas running the head for 15-16 yards off the carry. And again, just a little inside trap that time as they got the blocking up front. And that's one of the keys to playing some good college football, is that if you can continue to get stronger, at least stay that way in the 4th quarter and wear your opponent down, which right now Alcorn hopes to do, that makes you an even better opportunity to win a lot of games.
Most assuredly. Dumas there, it was for 17 yards. Good job. Again, nifty moves. Good blocking at the point of attack. He has nothing to do but use his skills and talents, and he gained 17 yards on the play. 1st down and 10.
Ken Williams is the fullback. Dumas along with Burks have been sharing the running back chores for the Braves today. A 1st and 10, and they're in the stack.
Great footwork.
And it comes outside to Burks. Well, we took a look at one of the keys to victory. Let's bring you our Aeropostale's keys to the game for Alcorn and see how they're doing here, Lim.
Donald Carey, hot hand. 5 touchdowns, I should say so. Parson leads the secondary. He's got 1 tackle, 2 pass defenses. Doing a great job there. Special team scores point. 1 field goal. I give them a B+ from standing right in there in their keys to victory.
One of the things that's not showing the special teams is also punt coverage, and they've done a good job in covering a lot of punts, not giving JSU a lot of opportunities in returning punts for great regularity. 12-13.
I give them an A-. I'm being ribbed by the people. I give them an A-. I'm being reared by the people in front. Don't forget, I'm a Jacksonian now. I can't show partiality now. So I'll give him an A-.
Dumas gets it to the outside, short of a first down by about a yard. Third down and a yard here for Alcorn. Williams will stay in. You know, Ken Williams, who is the freshman out of Birmingham, who was the one that said they not only would come over, they're going to beat up on the little Tigers here at Jackson State, is still in there ticking so far at the fullback spot for Alcorn.
He's keeping his head on a swivel.
Yes. Well, the officials have eyeballed it down the line of scrimmage, and now they do move the chain, so it was short. And, of course, after they looked at it, they realized that the ball apparently had broken the plane, so it's 1st and 10 for Alcorn. Clock at a dozen minutes to go in the game. 8 in the box now for Jackson State. And again, it's Burks breaking through it all the way in the secondary down to the 40-yard line.
He's got to be close to 100 yards now.
That'll get him up to 90 on 12 carries.
That's close.
That's close again. It's closer than 72 was, though. And, you know, you look at the other side of that, Dumas has rushed for 64. They're getting some good productivity out of those running backs.
Certainly are. Tremendous skills, good speed, good quickness, good vision as well. Been cutting back, cross grain, picking up valuable blockers, and just running the ball downfield, running it down Jackson's throat.
Terry himself has carried for 44 yards on the ground, in addition to 3 touchdown passes, or 2 touchdown passes and 3 carries for scores. Now you see Alcorn just doing what they need to do, and that, of course, is consuming some clock here and just trying to run the ball up the middle at time as Robert Lester, the young man out of Batesville, Mississippi, gets the carry.
Who's got to have a handful of yards as well.
Yep. Well, you asked. 27 before that carry.
Okay.
So give him 3 more, 30 yards.
See?
Well, mine's like a trap, I can tell already. Well, let's throw in Corbin Johnson, who ran an end around for 29.
They've had a very successful day on the ground.
They have indeed, yep.
Got a blitz going.
They're going to stay with
Picked
Burks.
up the blitz. Burks
slides out to the 30-yard line. If he down at the 30, it'll be just short of another first down. Bring up a third, and this time it will be 3rd and short if the spot holds up. And the Braves again continue to let the clock wind with 10.5 minutes left to go. Don't forget, coming up next, starting at 6 o'clock tonight, Charlie Neal, Jay Walker will be calling the MEAC game of the week, and it should be a good one. The Battle of the Borders in Charlotte. North Carolina A&T, the Aggies, going up against the Bulldogs of South Carolina State.
Good luck tonight, guys.
And off to Lester. Oh, sprints it outside again. And they whirl down at around the 25-yard line, but excellent slant off the edge that time by Robert Lester to gain some more yardage here. And another first down as they move the chain for Alcorn. Middle linebacker McGowan finally rolled him out of there. May have pulled a, looks like a quad on the left side. He's really holding that left thigh.
Certainly is. And may have been slammed down on his hip. That's what it may have been.
Look at the rushing yardage. 310 today for Alcorn State. Wow. 9:49 left to go. Well, Dr. Thomas came in, said it's all business. So far, they have stayed in the office. Spreading outside Burks. Defense finally says, I've had enough of that. And Jackson State will bring him down for a loss this time. One of the few losses they've had in the second half. They lose about 2 on the play.
2 yards again. Good defense on the left side. They had penetration. They beat the offensive line of Alcorn to the point of attack and drove Mr. Burks back for a 2-yard loss. Brings up 2nd and 12.
You know, one guy we haven't called a lot is Deion Du Bois, which means that the double teaming on him on that front line coming from his defensive right tackle spot has been very good for Alcorn State tonight. They've done a job on him. Gardner we have not called a lot. Mays and Lewis, the other down linemen, also have not been in the backfield that much. Carey,
what a job.
Oh, went to his tight end again and could not hang on. Was Turner. Lamarcus Turner let that one slither off his fingers. Incomplete.
But what a nifty job. That's just, he's got so much creativity. He doesn't throw errant passes. He makes a great job of pirouetting away from a would-be tackler. Has the presence of mind to look downfield. Spots his tight end. Hits him right in a bad spot, right in the middle of his hands. Right. And he couldn't come up with it.
3rd down, 12 yards to go here for Alcorn now. Big down linemen getting themselves ready. Chris Seymour, number 66 out of Houston, you saw, and they're now playing at the right guard spot. Carey, little delay, gets it to Dumas. Dumas will take it up ahead for only a couple of yards, brings up a 4th down play. So Jackson State now starting to get a little more penetration from this time Bobby Mays to help make the stop there. It'll be a 4th down. And Alcorn leading 42-25 with 8:35 left to go. They have not made a decision to do any kind of kicking right here on a 4th down and 9. They're going to keep their offense on the field. And Donald Carey will come back out and is dialed in this 4th down play. They, by the way, have been very successful, 52% on their 4th down plays, but they've said, no, let's think about this. Timeout's now going to be called by Alcorn. So Dr. Thomas now calling the timeout. John McKenzie, the coordinator for Alcorn State, they want to talk it over and discuss what's going on. Then first opportunity I've had to work with you this year on NBC. It's a real pleasure to work with you here in Jackson again, and Barry Milligan down on the field.
Back together again. It's always great to see you, Samuel.
Well, we did some great SWAC games. As a matter of fact, one here was Jackson State and Southern. In this place, there wasn't a seat to be found on that day about 3 years ago.
You're right. We had only standing room here in the press box.
We did indeed. I didn't know you had that many friends. Well, again, 42-25 the lead by the Braves as they are talking over this 4th down play. Now, the anxious part of the thing that's going on here for Alcorn State is the fact that if they continue to do what they need to do, they've got to now wait the destiny in the hands of someone else as they watch Alabama State tonight at Texas Southern. Let's go downstairs to Barry.
Sam, you know, barring a miracle, Jackson State continues to go into uncharted territory in terms of this losing streak. Coming in, they're 0-5 at home this year on that 6-game losing streak already, the longest since 1969. The first losing season since '84, so just a loss today to Alcorn would again make it even a longer offseason as they try to regroup for next year.
Carey on a 4th down play. He's got a receiver at the 4. And out of bounds they go. So again, Carey getting a big rush that time by Du Bois as they exchange, I'm sure not friendly comments. And a ball caught and out of bounds it goes. And they get it ahead and get it out of bounds. And catching the football is going to be Spiller. Charlie Spiller hasn't caught, but I think 2 passes all day today, but he catches a big one there. 1st and goal to go at the 4.
He catches a big one over Michael Cooley. Cooley had inside coverage, and it was an out route, a deep out cut. Fine throw and catch combination again. I'm just thoroughly impressed with Donald Carey.
By the way, that was the first catch of the afternoon by Spiller. He had dropped the last one. That was for 19. They throw it into the front of the end zone. Touchdown. As the catch out by Johnson. Johnson getting another TD today and makes it a 48-25 score in favor of Alcorn State. You talk about concentration to get those feet down. Great job by Johnson. And Carey goes for his 3rd touchdown and runs for 3 others today. If there's a better performance on this particular Saturday afternoon in the SWAC, I don't know where that might be. So the Braves on the warpath here at Veteran Memorial Stadium. 4-yard pass and run to Johnson from Carey. The point after by O'Connell, up and good, and it is now a 49-25 score as Alcorn celebrating on the sideline. Again, Johnson gets it right on the money from Carey. Touchdown Braves as we head for the final 7:41. Well, as time winds down in the 4th and final quarter of this 58 meeting with Alcorn State and Jackson State. Alcorn State trying to get only their 20th win in this series at kickoff. And they'll get it on the carry back for Jackson State. They'll move it beyond the 25. And on the carry, moving it ahead that time was Cleolis Gordon. 1st and 10. Once again for the Tigers. Well, we've had some big runs. We've had a lot of great plays in today. And let's take a look. Imarin officially presents our long-distance play of the game. Imarin, pharmaceutical official pain reliever of the SWAC. And, of course, they get that pass once again, getting out that time, going to Nate Hughes. One of 2 catches as he had today, but a big one there for Alcorn State.
It certainly was. Just tremendous leg drive, great strength, and it wasn't going to be denied. And again, it was bad techniques by Michael Cooper. Don't try to bulldog him down, tie up both his legs. He's got to fall down. Back to live action.
Robert Kent, it's blocked at the line of scrimmage and almost caught on the other side by Kennebrew, but batted down with those big linemen coming in with their hands up.
Big Brian Williams. I tell you, I'm impressed with Big 78 from Alcorn. He's played a steady ball game all day. Had tremendous pressure on Robert Cook all afternoon and has made some great tackles as well.
You know that Brian Williams, you speak of him, he's a senior, 6'6", 313 pounds on the defensive side for Alcorn. Second down and 10 now. Back is Robert Kent to throw. He's throwing to the near side, and it's Jones on the catch. He's immediately hit and hit hard. That time by Alcorn, and the first man to get him was Tim Batts, the free safety. But he gets up and he's all right. What a catch that time by Jones.
Great concentration. We've seen a couple of those today by him. He's been like a bullseye. He's been a target not only for the quarterback but for the defensive back as well.
I wonder what that circle on his back was all about. First down and 10 to go here for JSU. Nothing more and just a little respect is in the offering here, I think, for the Tigers. But again, who knows? Kent again. Well, that coverage for Alcorn State has been good. As Kent throws it up, and that one is going to be intercepted and dropped. Hobbs, who almost came up with his second intercept of the game, drops that one around the 30-yard line.
3 balls. You can't drop those. You got to bring those in. That helps with your standings here. Great pressure again. You see a 3-man rush up front. Finally, he tries to scramble. It's only a 3-man rush. Everybody else is back in coverage. Oh, look at it. WBIH. You got to watch your balls in your hand.
And a quick correction, if I may. David Smith is the one that dropped that, and not Hobbs, who had the earlier intercept. This is Kent. He's airing it out again. A lot of coverage down there. That one again. David Smith knocks it in the air. Husky, they got the intercept. Back the other way they come. Parsons, after he got help from David Smith, Parsons gets his 6th interception of the year. And again, Robert Kent trying to air that out into double coverage up the far sideline, trying to get it ahead to Ross, the wide receiver, and Parsons comes up for the intercept.
Here it is. Good job here. Batted it up. You practice these drills in practice. They're called tip drills.
Yep.
You got to be heads up. You got to keep your head on a swivel. This young man here, Tyrone Parson, has a great nose for the ball. Anything from ground to aerial assault, he's looking to intercept it.
All-state football player out of Memphis Ridgeway High School. Again, his 6th interception, but what a play by David Smith to keep that ball alive and just literally bat it back into the field of play. So Alcorn now will just try to use the fullback, and that's Ken Williams, carrying the football over the middle for a gain of 3 or 4. As again, they try to wind this clock out with 6:30 left to go in the game.
What a great freshman find he is. Uh-oh. That might be cramps. Hopefully those are cramps.
I hope so, too. That is Williams. He's down. Williams played at Jackson Olin High School in Birmingham.
Yeah, cramps. That's cramps. He's only a freshman. He's 5'11" at 200 and a cool 70 pounds.
Carrying a nice little load there. 49-25 our score. The Braves have the lead.
Last week, first-year coach George Small and North Carolina A&T wrapped up the MEAC title, and today the Aggies will try to finish the season with a perfect conference mark. But the Bulldogs of South Carolina State will have something to say about that, as they'd like to be the only team to hang a MEAC loss on the Aggies. Well, you know it should be a good one. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. for North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State from Charlotte, right here on MBC.
Well, it's been a sunshiny afternoon here in Jackson, and now the clouds have come in and the lights have gone on at the Veterans Stadium. And again, the Capital City Classic. These two clubs, of course, 45 miles the schools away from each other. Great rivalry. 58th meeting between them. And then until today, it had been 8 straight wins by Jackson State, but Alcorn trying to do something about that with a big lead. And they've got that running game down pretty well perfection now. As that time they hand it off to Chad Warren for a nice bust on the left side. Well, of course, it's been an afternoon, a big one here with this man, and that, of course, is Donald Carey. Carey has been named by Office Depot. What you need and what you need to know. He's our player of the game, and look at the numbers he's put up today.
They're staggering. Every touchdown today, he had a hand in it. Or sometimes he had a leg in it because he ran for 3 and he's thrown for 3.
And I think the play clock might have cost Alcorn that time as they didn't get the play off on the first down. Stopping the clock at 5:33 left
We have
to
a
go.
dead ball. False start on the offense. First down.
Dr. Thomas, again, as I mentioned, out of football as a professor at Arkansas Pine Bluff after he had been an assistant coach there. And, of course, he'd spent a year at Alabama State, also 3 at Mississippi Valley. Also at Arkansas Pine Bluff, was there for 4 seasons before stepping away from football, but got the call from the alma mater, and here he is. And on the verge of a huge win that will at least give him a shot at wrapping up a chance to go to the SWAC championship, depending on the outcome of Alabama State and Texas Southern tonight. You know, Texas Southern has played some pretty good football at home, too.
They certainly have. They've lost some close games this year as well by nominal points. But again, I think the conference has been pretty much balanced this year. A lot of parity. Many seniors, a lot of juniors, the sophomores comprising these teams. And again, it's always close margin at the end of the season.
Second down, 13 yards to go. And here's Burks doing what he's done all afternoon.
He's got 100 yards now, I do believe.
It may be Dumas also. Yeah, it is Dumas. So Dumas and Burks kind of alternating in and out of this play once again here for Alcorn State.
Absolutely. I'd pull all my starters at this time, Sam, just to protect. I mean, you know, you never know what might happen. But again, the game is virtually over now. 4 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Alcorn is looking to play another game, and I'd certainly preserve my starters.
Donald Carey. 4 minutes left to go with a first down play. They sprint it the outside to Lester. Lester spinning away from a tackle. Gets it down to around the 18. So again, the running backs just keep coming at you in bunches. Well, of course, Alcorn State broke out of a tight game. We present our Chrysler Drive of the Game, brought to you by Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV. And of course, the passing game again of Curry. The running of Burks. And he takes it into the end zone for a well-deserved tee, and that one kind of broke the back of JSU, it appears.
It certainly did. You had a chance to see the point of the tight end receiving a ball, number 85, Marcus Turner. He's at 270 pounds, and when he caught the ball before he got in the end zone, I saw 3 defensive backs literally move out of his way.
And also they thought it was an eclipse. The sun went away too. Well, of course, later tonight, beginning at 7 o'clock over in Houston, Texas Southern against Alabama State. Alabama State now has to win the game to go to the eastern part of the division to play either Grambling or Southern, and it is on by virtue of a earlier win over Alcorn, 49-28, that if they tie after today, that Alabama State would get the opportunity to go as the East representative.
Absolutely. You can bet on the way back to Alcorn tonight that the Braves are going to be doing a drum dance for that victory.
There's some tom-toms going tonight.
Yes, sir.
49-25 score, the Braves, who have just literally stymied this JSU club. Even though they had a lift, they stayed close. Actually came back and got a touchdown right after the half, but from that time on, it's been a shutout thrown here by Alcorn. As again, they had second down in short yardage situation. And again, they tested that line with even another running back as Chad Warren carries for the second time tonight. Warren, a freshman fullback senior, 220 pounds, so they've got some running backs with not only some good speed, but also some excellent power in the middle. Clock winds at 3:27 to go.
They have a compilation of great ball players, and they'll have them for years to come. You heard him talk about just a few seniors, second-generation seniors. So he's got some youth as well that will be continue to foster their skills and talents upcoming. Slip in the backfield by the running back.
Lester falling down after he tried to make the cut. Loss on the play. And let's take a look once again at our defensive player of the game, and it's Vincent Dancy as their defensive player. 6.5 tackles, had 1 deflection, and again seemed to be around the football a lot and helped at least at times to string out that offense of Alcorn State. Our congratulations to Vincent Dancy. Our player of the game brought to you by Office Depot for things you need and things that you need to know.
Absolutely. It didn't show all the things that he has done today. He's been on a lot of force plays, and he's pursued a lot of plays, and this looks good.
O'Connell, it'll be no good. It slides off to the right as he put that one up from the 28. Had been a 38-yard try. 49-25. Alcorn with the lead. Back in a moment. Today's game has been brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. Well, of course, as the crowd, now many of them starting to head to the exits as they've seen Alcorn State break this 8-game losing streak to Jackson State, 49-25. Have only 2:27 left to go in this one. As again, they missed the field goal try, so it'll be at the 20-yard line for Jackson State when they get a chance to get the football again. Again, we may have the backup quarterback, Chris Walker. Let me correct that. Let me have a backup quarterback in there is Brian Green.
Sophomore.
And a left-hander. Throwing over the middle, intercepted again. Back it goes the other way. Alcorn State doing everything they do to turn this around. It's Parsons.
Second one.
Comes up with his second interception and his 7th of the year for Alcorn, and that one will definitely seal the deal. 2:16 left to go here in the game.
Good job here. Comes in Cole. Little big, I think. He led him a little too much. The intended receiver was Tim Mannings. But again, alertly enough on defense comes Tyrone Parsons for his second pickoff for the evening.
Manning was one-on-one coverage that time with the linebacker Wilson. And Parsons, of course, playing that center field role. And after the ball was tapped, makes that second intercept, 7th of the year. Terry still in the game. Ahead to Ken Williams. Williams just dragging people ahead of him. And they got enough for the first down as they reach nearly the 15-yard line.
Last game of the season for Jackson State. They're being trounced here by Alcorn Braves in the annual Capital City Classic.
So it'll not be one of those years that championship time for Jackson State. They've done it 14 times, either winning or sharing it back-to-back in 95, 96. Coach James Carson, the head coach here at Jackson State, when they did that. Coming up, don't forget the MEAC game of the week. And again, it's a good one. The Battle of the Border is it's the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, already the champions of the MEAC, along with South Carolina State and the Bulldogs. Charlie and Jay will join you for that. That'll be coming up on most of our stations along the network. Should be a good one there with the battle in Charlotte.
Certainly should. Better.
Charlie's been prepping for about 19 weeks now on that one game, I think. So that should be a good one.
I know he'll have a lot of information for it.
Also, don't forget, speaking of A&T, regardless of how they come out today, they'll be heading for the 1AA playoffs. Their future on where they'll play and when they'll play will be determined on the 1AA pairing show from the NCAA tomorrow. And, of course, next Saturday at 1 o'clock, they will be kicking off somewhere against someone. But, again, into the 1AA playoffs for North Carolina A&T. And, of course, the MEAC playoffs getting started in the 1AA chase for the playoffs. And they do have a playoff in 1AA there, Mr. Barney.
Indeed. Indeed.
All the folks in Division I are still clamoring over, we need that. And I'm not so sure it's not going to come in the next few years.
Correct.
1st and 10 after the intercept by Parsons. And they continue to run those big backs. That time is Jeremy McCoy, 6 feet, 210 out of Dallas Carter High School. Getting his time in the sun here. Gain of nearly 8 yards, make it nearly 9. He's got second down and 2 yards to go. Clock with 1:45 and ticking here, and ticking off for JSU.
This had to have been Alcorn's greatest day of the season by way of rushing.
Oh, no doubt.
by way of rushing. They did just a tremendous job. Offensive linemen, a great job.
363 yards on the ground. As again, they'll take the snap. And again, they'll once again just try to run out this clock.
Indeed. You know, you have to, I'm going to, because I'm a Jacksonian, I'm going to congratulate on record Coach Thomas and the Braves of Alcorn and all of their alumni. He stopped the bleeding. He had lost 5 consecutive games to Jackson, but would not be denied this day on the 6th one, and they came up with a big victory. He had prepared his ball players quite well, mentally, physically, as well as spiritually for this contest, and as a result, 49-25, the Braves over Jackson State Tigers.
Well, of course, Coach Thomas taking over for Cardell Jones, who had put together a nice little record himself there at Alcorn, prior to Marino Cassim doing his job, and a marvelous one with 132 wins there at Alcorn, including 3 national black college football championships and 6 SWAC titles under Marino. And now, of course, they passed the baton a couple of times, and now it's up to Dr. Thomas, as with 22 seconds left to go, they've just got a 4th down, and they'll just try to wind this one down with one more snap, even if they give it back to Jackson State. And they will. So Jackson State will take over on downs with 10 seconds left to go. Just a matter of winding out the clock here. Ma'am, I know you've seen a lot of SWAC and other black college football around the country, and I think we need to salute them all for doing a good job this year.
Indeed, and I'd like to congratulate and salute MBC as well for covering all the games this year, highlighting and forefronting a lot of the HBUs.
Don't forget the MEAC comes up at 6 o'clock tonight on many of these same stations. A&T going against South Carolina State, as it will be over on downs. Jackson State will take over, and Coach Bell, I'm sure, will try to run a lot of guys in there that may be taking a snap for the last time as a senior here for Jackson State. And you can see across the way that Dr. Thomas is now going to have a little dry cleaning bill as well, as he did get the gate. Oh, there, there's the water. Oh, my gosh, that's cold.
He wanted to see who initiated so he could make sure they ran the next practice real hard.
And they also maybe not have a real advantageous seat on the bus when they go back. And there's the snap, and it's all over as Jackson State will lose for the first time in 9 outings to Alcorn State, as the Braves, as Lynn's pointed out, have finally stopped the bleeding. And they do it with a big win here today, 49-25. So again, as the coaches in midfield, players, of course, giving grace where grace is due.
Absolutely. To the almighty one.
And Coach Bell, there's a lot of conversation on how well he'll be able to rebound this program after a 2-10 season. But of course, on the other side, a 7-5 year right now by Alcorn, and now they must wait for their future to be decided tonight with Alabama State playing at Texas Southern. Should be a good game, though.
Should be a big game. There's a lot on the stake there for both those teams. But again, I know that Coach Thomas is going to be praying for victory for the team that's going to send him into the playoffs.
So we've had a lot of great ones going on with a 49-25 win by Alcorn State here, and our final score from Jackson. Well, don't forget, coming up, we've got the Sports Lifestyles coming up next here on the NBC Network. That'll be followed by the MEAC Game of the Week. That's at 6 o'clock with the Aggies going against the Bulldogs. Charlie and Jay will have that game for you. And again, a good one there. We've had a good one here, Alcorn State. On behalf of, once again, Lynn Barney and Barry Milligan, this is Sam Smith saying so long from Jackson, and thank you, NBC Sports, for the coverage.
In his final game, he came into the season as a preseason second-team All-Selection. Last year, he was second-team All-MEAC. Now the Bulldogs will have to spend a timeout. I don't think they were ready. He has 4,713 career yards coming in and 40 touchdowns coming into today's game. He's thrown one today, so that gives him 41 for the season. Our Dodge Player of the Week, brought to you by Dodge. Grab life. Let's check it out. It's Michaud Hollingsworth, and he's a member of the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, the junior running back a week ago against Hampton. 18 carries, 125 yards. He also had a 53-yard touchdown run. He's a junior from Radford, Hope County High. Musho Hollingsworth, who probably will not see him play today. Radford, North Carolina is where he hails from.
You know, you look at that stat there, one thing about the MEAC conference is they've got running back after running back after running back, and they keep coming. So although Hollingsworth is a good one, you've also got Rutherford and Howard, you've got Coleman and Hampton University. This is a running back conference, and not only are these guys good, but they've got these star power type running backs in the conference now.
They certainly do.
And Hollingsworth is just one of the few, or one of the many, I should say. It's an oxymoron there, one of the few, one of the many.
Have a great one at Hampton, one at Howard University. These guys